Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I believe we're live. Finally figured out how to live stream without showing the desktop, and that's a relief because the last 2 weeks on the radio show that had been a problem, and it couldn't have actually been any more obvious. There's a huge thing right in the center that says webcam, and somehow I didn't see that until today. So never been the most tech-savvy person, and sometimes I miss the obvious. It really couldn't have been any more front and center. So anyhow, it's Sunday. It's August 18th, 2019. Done with the chores today. Thought I'd jump online and say hello. I got good news and I got sort of bad news. And I think most of you have already heard the sort of bad news. But just in case you haven't, I will not be at Anarchadelphia. I was uninvited Friday. And part of what happened is the game of telephone. If you listen to my show Wednesday night, I had a caller call in, and he expressed why he thought I shouldn't go to that event. And I heard what he was saying, and what he was saying is what many people had reached out to me and said before. I've been getting emails, text messages, phone calls, people saying, I got a bad feeling about this event. I don't like the interview you did with the Anarchadelphia guy. Something was wrong with that. His energy seemed wrong. It seemed like, he wasn't into it. And with all the people saying that, I thought, well, it's strange that so many people are reaching out saying this, because that's kind of how I felt. And in the radio show, I pretty much said that to the caller, that, yeah, what you're saying to me, I've heard from a lot of other people, and I kind of felt that way myself. And I said, you might have noticed in the interview, I wasn't really looking at the camera. I was looking down and away because I kind of felt like the person was glaring at me and maybe not really into what I was saying. This is how it felt doing the interview in real time. I remember I was looking down this way a lot, talking like this. So anyhow, I did want to go to the event to speak out and share the information with a new group of people. And I did want to meet the people there and travel to Philadelphia and New York and DC. And that's absolutely still going to happen. But I'm going to postpone it. Friday, I met with a company that's here in town. I live in this small town, but there happens to be a website building company, and it looks like they actually do pretty impressive work. And since they're right here in my back door, if I have a problem, I'll just be able to go right over there and get the problem solved. Not like last time I built a website. I chose two gentlemen who were in Florida, and I'm in Washington State, and we ran into some problems. But so anyway, Anarchadelphia is out, and to do something better and to have more control over the situation, I'm having a website built. And for those of you who were here 3 years ago, I built a well, I didn't build it personally. I don't have the skills, but I raised money and I hired two young gentlemen who I thought were down for the cause to build a website, and we called it All for Truth. And it was a website that operated almost exactly like Facebook. But what it was designed for was people who care about truth. And, if anyone who uses Facebook or social media, if you share something truth related, you're probably not going to get nearly as many positive responses if you share, a funny video, which is what most people like social media for. So this is about creating a community, not just to preach to the choir, but to create a community that cares about truth, that wants a safe place to share information, and who truly wants to build a network. That's the ultimate goal of this website, to help organize people so that they can find others around them in their, maybe even in their neighborhood. In the time I've moved to this small town, I've met with two husband and wives that both watch my work. And, I live in a really small town. So the point is, there's at least there's a husband and wife and a husband and wife, and there's myself. So there's at least 5 people in this small town. And I know there's actually more around because more of you have reached out. You just haven't asked to meet up in person. But in this small town, there's people around here who are, caring enough about this information. They're looking to network. So I know if it's true in this small town, it's true in all small towns, and it's definitely true in bigger cities. So the goal of this website, it'll be like you sign up, it's free. By the way, it's going to be totally free to use. Well, it's not going to be free for me. It's going to be pretty expensive is what I've learned to run it. But to me, it's worth it. You guys have invested in me in the last year. You've helped me get in a good spot. Now it's time to get things going forward. So I'm going to be investing back I'm going to create a really professional website. It's going to be safe and secure. And again, the whole goal is going to be to get people to a safe place to share this information, discuss this information, learn this information, and something that's much different than YouTube, because YouTube, there's all sorts of censorship and there's trolls. So we're going to keep out the trolls. We're going to keep out the censorship. And then if you want more than that, it's going to allow you to network with people. You'll be able to create a profile. You won't be required to even put your real name there if you don't want to. But I mean, if you troll the community, you're going to get deleted. Those are the only people who are going to be banned, people who are attacking and trolling. But you'll be able to share as much information as you're comfortable sharing. If you want to put your real name out there, that's fine. If you want to put out your state, that's fine. Your city, that's fine. You'll be able to put out as much information as you want, and you'll have settings so that certain people can see it. So, for example, if you do put your state and city, maybe you don't want everybody to see that on there, but maybe people who, become your friends in your network. And so anyway, this website is going to exist for this purpose. And in addition, what else I'm imagining will be on the website is a place, for my blog, for my YouTube posts, and perhaps also just from the community's posts. Just some sort of, active feed. Yeah, I definitely want it to be more than my content. Maybe at first it'll just be my content, but eventually get other people's content up there too. And of course, like imagine when you go into your, your Facebook, all your friends, you see their notifications, what they're posting that day. So it'll be something similar like that on the website. Other features that are going to be on there. There's going to be an app that you can download that will be a Gematria calculator. So you don't need to be connected to the internet. You can just download it to your computer or your phone and use it offline if you don't have a connection. A lot of people have asked for that, so we're going to get that on there. And I think I'm going to make the app free. All this stuff costs money for me to make, but again, because you guys have invested in me, I'm going to invest back. I am also going to create some way for people to donate, of course, people who want to support the work, because the ultimate goal after the website's built and established, and I'm hoping to have at least one of these gatherings before the end of this year. The end of the year is already coming up quick. Again, we just put the plan into motion for the website Friday, and he said that this is probably, the biggest task he's done yet as a website builder. But he said it's going to take at least a month. So I'm going to imagine that might mean 2 months. So from Friday to 2 months is about the middle of October. And so I'm imagining it'll be done. And if the website is successful, if people are using it, what I want to do is pick a city. And I'm thinking the Northeast, since that's where I was supposed to be in September. And a lot of people who call into the show every week are from the Northeast. There's just so many people there. So it's a location that makes sense. But I'd like to pick a location and through the website, promote this gathering of people who are into this truth community and about networking and making something happen. And, through the website, promote that like a month in advance and then go there and have that gathering and see what the response is. And hopefully that's successful. And then from there goes city to city. And I think for the first year, assuming that this project's successful, which I plan for it to be, at least once a month, one weekend, pick a city, go there, have a meeting place. Obviously for the first year, it'd probably be bigger cities so that, there's a higher percentage of more people being able to attend. But for the first goal, that would be 12 cities in the year holding these rallies to, share knowledge, information, meet people, and also promote this website and hopefully get more people to become a part of it. So again, the website that's being built going to be totally free to use. It'll be like Facebook for the truth seeker, if you will, without the data mining, without the advertising. And also, again, an app section. The calculator will be the first app put on there. If we think of other things to build in the future, we can definitely add to it. But that calculator, pretty much your offline Gematrinator. Also, I'm just going to make a calculator on the website that people can use too, just like Gematrinator. I might shave off some of the ciphers just because I see a lot of people in the community who are new. They're coming and they're using every cipher and they're putting these posts together. and connecting like 8 things by using every cipher. And I just don't think that's a good way to expose this knowledge by, you know, piecing something together that's kind of loose and using 8 different ciphers. So as I've demonstrated, you could really do this work with 1 cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. If you use that in the alphabetic order, you can do it even further. If you use the 4 base ciphers that I use, I mean, it's not everything, but it's more than enough to make persuasive arguments of how this code is used every single day in the ways that we expose. So the calculator will be on there. And also, I think, again, there'll be a feed for my blog, for my videos, and probably other selected channels, and maybe in time figure out a way to, or I don't know, you know, we can always update and figure it out, but just some sort of feed with current content, because obviously people are always after that. And then all the products you guys have been asking me to make for a long time, t-shirts, bumper stickers, posters, calendars, there'll be a store with those items. And so anyway, all that's in the works, but the website will be 100% free to use. And hopefully, you know, it'll be very successful and people will use it to network and connect and help spread this research and knowledge, plus other important things in the truth community. Again, it's not going to be an all Gematria website or anything. It's just more about building the truth community, and that's it. And there really won't be any censorship. So that's another important thing. There'll just be no trolling. And with that said, that's pretty much all I wanted to share. So no Anarchadelphia. I have been uninvited. But a good website coming, and hopefully, you know, the kind of gatherings we need to start having in person. So those are my 2 primary goals right now. Somebody says we need to do billboards. So I looked into how much billboards cost. It depends on the city. Obviously, bigger cities cost a lot more. But I was looking at Seattle, which is the biggest city near me. And again, it depends on location. But you can get a billboard that has about, you know, 400,000 cars drive by it per month for between $5,000 and $7,000. And to have that billboard up all year, do the math on that, that's $60,000 or $84,000. And they probably charge you tax too, you know, so you can tack on another 10% in Seattle. But that's expensive. You know, that's more than most people make in a year. So to do something like that, you need a network of people. Like, for example, there's 60,000 people, well, actually, I guess almost 70,000 now subscribe to this channel. And if just imagine all 70,000 people contribute $1 a month to further this work, that means you could afford 10 or more billboards a month based off that dollar in cities that, you know, where the traffic, they say, is at least like 400,000, 500,000 cars a month. And so if you think about it, I mean, that's, you know, 5 million sets of eyeballs per month. That's not bad. So, and then I guess maybe if you started a successful campaign and said, hey, and maybe part of the sign is to get people to support this campaign, maybe all the new members each month, you know, generate. So anyhow, this is the whole point of the website, though, to network, to create community, to create ideas, to raise resources to make things happen. I just realized for the last year, I've just been thinking too much about, like, what can just I do more to make something happen, because that's been my whole goal for doing this the last 6 years straight, getting older and older every single day. And I really don't want to do this for 6 more years straight and not be further ahead. So I just realized, I mean, it's like, I really can't do much more. I mean, I spend like, maybe I could use my time smarter, but I mean, I'm using like every minute of my day, almost every single day to do this. And obviously I just need to figure out how to branch out and help other people contribute more. So I think the website's the way to do that. And speaking and bringing other people together is the way to do that. So But yeah, billboards, great idea. I'm looking at the chat for any other ideas people have. The website builder, while he's working on things, he's asked me to give him a list of really nice looking websites that I think would be good to model it after. And I'm still working on that list. I don't use a lot of websites. So I'm like, shoot, actually. So I've been looking around just trying to find something. But if anybody has a great, website interface that they're aware of that's just so impressive to them, if you could email me the link to that website, gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com, just like my channel name, but just put it all together as one word, gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com. If there's some website interface that you just love, if you would link that to me so I can look at it. You guys probably know about more, nice websites than I do. So. Oh no, I see the trolls are here. The trolls are always here. That's the thing. If the world was as dedicated to spreading the truth as the trolls online are to attacking truth, I'm telling you, the revolution would have already happened. These trolls, man, they don't sleep. Zenith of the Alpha says we need a well-produced short film. And see, that's where the community has to come together, because that's not going to come from me. My sweet lady, she always makes fun of how bad I am with the camera. I can't take a good picture or hold my hand steady, so. But yeah, if there was a community, all these things could happen. Okay. On here. Somebody says that they like the idea of the website. That's nice to hear. A call for an uprising. I don't know if that's really him or a troll. Sometimes there's a troll that creates the same channel names as other popular channels and attacks this channel. So I don't know if it's really him or a troll imitating him. But if it is really him, he should call in. And you guys are welcome to call in if you have any ideas or any feedback about what I'm sharing tonight. The call-in number is the same as always. It's 509-731-0567. I just saw the message that somebody said they have a friend that's a cameraman for BET. Well, if he would love to help us, that would be awesome to have a professional cameraman. It's definitely not going to be me. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Michael?
Hey, Zach, how's it going, man? Hey, did you hear about the New Orleans reporter that died?
Was that the? It wasn't the 95-year-old, was it?
No, it was a black woman, I think it was. I couldn't remember her name. I'm sure if you Google it, it should pop up.
Okay, New Orleans news personality died?
Yeah, it's a black female.
All right, let me see if this pulls it up. Nancy Parker, plane crash.
Yes, and I guess Drew Brees sent out a tweet about it or something.
I'll have to look into it. Today, what we were watching in the preseason is to see if the Saints would win because Los Angeles, their coach, we've noticed that even the preseason games seem to be scripted the way they script the regular season games. So anyway, we noticed that the coach for Los Angeles, he could fall to 3-7 as a coach in the preseason, and Los Angeles equals 37, so does Saints. And he lost today, so he became 3-7, and the Saints won with 19. Saints also equals 19. So,
it's crazy, man.
It is crazy. But anyway, so Drew Brees was connected to this story, huh?
Yeah, I guess he sent out a tweet. I guess you go to his Twitter or whatever. I think one of his latest tweets it's about that reporter.
Okay, I will look into it. Nancy Parker. The media loves that name, Parker. Parker, 33. All right, thanks, Michael.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
All right, take care.
Yeah, you too.
Caller?
Yo.
Yo.
Hey, Hey, did you delete that? Did you self-delete that Philadelphia fake flood video?
I did. I took that video down because the trolls were attacking it and saying that it's too grainy and doesn't prove anything. And I was like, you know what? The trolls might actually be right. I'm going to find a higher def version of this and upload it. So.
Yeah, there's a better, longer form video on Rise Together channel.
Okay.
And there's some good commentary. That whole event, it just stinks to high heaven. And there's another channel, Bitter Mag Truth, that does a great breakdown of all the fake coverage of the entire event. Sure. You can see the guy that coming out of the house. He's coming out of the house to surrender with his hands held up high. He's bald headed and has a swinging beard. And later, they're perp walking a different guy that was the suspect apparently, that's black and has hair and not a swinging beard. It's such a giant fakery. It's hilarious.
Well, we knew it was. I mean, the whole thing just looked like a joke from the get. And, of course, it was by the same old numbers. And we even showed prior to the game plan that it was synced up with the Philadelphia Phillies, which there can be no doubt about. So, yeah, it's a joke, man. It's all theater from the sports to the news.
Yeah, I keep trying to tell the people that, but they don't. They just say, no. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know what to do about people. I forgot that you guys can't see my screen right now. I pulled up the story about this dead news anchor in New Orleans. Her name's Nancy Parker, which equals 54. Just like New Orleans equals 54. Just like Drew Brees equals 54. And part of the story is that Drew Brees reached out to her. And, of course, this is the year of Super Bowl 54. So, yeah, man, I don't know how we can continue to show how this works every single day, and people just keep sitting there on the fence like they're not sure about it. So.
Yeah, I ran my last name through the Gematrinator, and I came up with 9999 on all four.
Well, if you got a 9 in one of the ciphers, you got a 9 in all four. That's all explained in my book how that works, the numerology of it. But yeah, if you have a 9 in any cipher, you'll have a 9 in all four. It's part of what makes 9 special.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to have to check it out. Thanks.
All right, yeah, welcome.
See you, man.
All right, take care. Call for an Uprising says go on Skype. I can hook you up through Skype. My Skype handle is free to find truth, like my blog, all is one word. Free to find truth. T-O. Free T-O find truth. Free to. Okay. I can only take one call at a time. If you guys want to call back in, you got to time it right. It's just when the line is open. And the channel with the clever spelling of Gematria with the blue wrench who keeps posting the number, that is the number to call in. It's just a cell phone. Somebody says my glasses are orange for 33. Actually, they're not. You can get a pair of these glasses too. They're just, what do you call this? Blue light blocking. I was starting to get, my eyes were starting to really burn earlier this year. I remember it was in wintertime when it's drier. And I realized I've been staring at a computer screen doing this work for like over 5 years straight. I'm killing my eyes, and that's why my eyes are letting me know. But honestly, since I started wearing these glasses, my eyes haven't hurt. I'm still staring at a computer screen too much, that's for sure, doing this work. But I don't have the same eye pain, so it made a huge difference. Steve Waldron says, did I see his work on the Oslo Accord September 17th? I did not. Is that another date in the signing process? I'm going to have to look that up. Apologies, didn't see it. Caller?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Gematria Database. I just want to let you know I got 4 chapters done and edited on the database of your book, audiobook style, and some like music, noisy kind of stuff in the background.
Awesome. So that's all on the website?
Yeah.
Okay, and let everyone know where that website is. It's linked in the description to all of my videos, but what's the website again?
It's KON5 TIRACY.blogspot.com.
Yeah.
And then you want to go up to the search bar thing and or the I don't know what to call them, navigation bar, and look for where it says letters and numbers audiobook, and it will take you to the audiobook page.
Awesome. Very cool. I'm going to check that out. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. No worries. I wanted to get it out there, for the blind people and anybody that was into it.
Very
and
cool.
That couldn't, or like people that, don't have time to read, they want to listen to it, that kind of deal. If anybody else out there wants to pick up the torch and, because I don't have the greatest voice, I was like, editing myself, and I'm like, I don't know if everybody's going to want to listen to this. But anyway, if anybody wants to pick up the torch and like has a better voice, like a reading voice, kind of thing, they're more than welcome to it. And I'll link from my blog to theirs, that type of thing. So also, I got updated all the way up to now. Well, not now, like last month, all the way up through last month, all the events in the timeline event area, 2019, and also the timeline event area that's all the connection. So you can go back and forth. I got all these labels up there, so then you could, and some of the labels have numbers next to them that represents like how many of whatever it is, and that way you can keep track and you can kind of do a statistical thing.
Very cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, you've done great work on that website. So for people who don't know, if you open up the description of my video and you scroll down, there's a link to the website. It's conspiracy.blogspot, but he spells conspiracy with a K. So K-O-N instead of C-O-N, and then the S is made into a 5. So it's conspiracy, but the C's a K, and the first, or I guess the only S is a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anyway, just wanted to let you guys know. Keep up the good work. I'll be listening.
Thank you so much. Yeah, awesome work, man. You've made a huge contribution.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Any questions for you?
Say that again.
Any questions?
What's that?
Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, no. I'm just going to check it out. I'm very familiar with your site, but I didn't see the new edition, so I'm going to check that out.
Okay, awesome.
All right, thanks, man.
Sure. And we've also got a shooting area, too. I just put out. Basically, it's just all the shootings.
Okay.
Or actually, all the attacks. So it's also got bombs. It's also got, like, knife attacks and axe attacks, whatever.
Right. Very cool.
Yeah. All right, anyway, I'll let you go.
All right, thanks, man.
Caller.
All right, take care.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. So I don't know. Now the problem is that if I put the camera on me, I don't know how to switch it back to show you the desktop. I haven't figured that part out now. It seems like when you start it, you have to choose one or the other. In the old system, it was flexible. It was easy. It was just like you just click a button. Camera come, camera go. I need it to be that way. That's what I hate about all the constant updates with this internet age. It's like, why can't you guys just come out with a good format that we can just stick with, that we all understand? These tech companies, is like every 6 months or maybe sometimes every year, some big overhaul. It's like you got to relearn the whole way how to use the system. It's like, what is the point of doing this? Like, it was fine before. I don't think most of these changes improve things. It's just like they make it more confusing. But so far, 2 great calls. Check out that website. He has a ton of stuff there to try to help people learn and keep this information organized. And then also the person tipping us off about this Nancy Parker story. And I wonder what day she died. This happened Friday, happened August 15th. Well, that's creepy because August 15th is the big Jesuit day. And if I remember after the phone call, we'll talk about the Jesuits here in the NFL. Caller?
Hi, how you doing? How's it going, Zach?
It's going well. How are you?
Great. I've been following your videos for about 2 years already. I just got an off-the-wall question. Do you ever worry about your safety for exposing all this?
Well, I've had to think about that for a long time because I've been harassed for a long time. So.
Oh my God! But I absolutely love your videos. I've been learning a lot. I'm still learning how to apply this to other trips and the stories and that. And a lot of my buddies are like getting into it now. They just like blown away when I show them little things here and there that I've learned from it.
Show them this Nancy Parker story. Show them this Nancy Parker story. It's just another classic example. And I'm going to explain something more about this story after the break. But it's just the same stuff year after year. It's sick.
Oh, I got to take a look at it. I haven't even actually read the story.
Supposedly a news anchor woman in New Orleans died in a plane crash Friday, and her name equals 54, like New Orleans, like Drew Brees. And Drew Brees is part of the story for reaching out to her family. But of course, it's the year of Super Bowl 54. Football's getting underway. Last year, I did a lot of work on, well, I've done it for several years, showing how Pope Francis, the Jesuit Pope's always synced up with the NFL. He's the first publicly Jesuit Pope. The Saints, the most Catholic team, and this happened on the August 15th anniversary of the Jesuits first forming on this date. So I'm sure there's more to it, but a few callers ago just called in to ask to look into this story, and I just looked into it for a second. I just said, man, I already see what they're up to. So
it's phenomenal, though. But it's great that we finally found a way where they, what the hell they're putting out there as propaganda now. I knew there was something about their either movies, media, and everything they put out. Like, there was something about them.
Right.
And finally, this is what it is.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to keep watching all that. I really appreciate you for answering my call. I was just wondering about all that.
Well, you're welcome, and I appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
Oh, and also, I did order your book. I ordered the PDF version of it. I'm still reading it. It's phenomenal.
Awesome, man. How much have you read?
So far, I'm not sure what page I'm on. I think I'm in 100 and something right now.
Yeah, the beginning of the book, I just tried to make like something that would grip people and give them a lot of important information right away. So those first 100 pages, that's really all you need to read in my book to feel like you've gotten a ton. But there's a whole lot more after that. It's nearly 800 pages long. So.
Yeah, I like the way you broke it down in the beginning, too, because you started off with the alphabet, the 26 letter in the alphabet, and then you explained it from there, and that's basically like a great way how to start it and break it down.
That's what it took me 5 years to write the book and figure out the proper way to communicate it. So that was the best I could do after 5 years.
Yeah, it's awesome, though. Well, keep up the great work, though, and I'll let you go there.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, have a good night. Okay, I want to address somebody in the chat, and I've seen that this person's making videos about me, and maybe they think that they're right about me. They think they got me all figured out. So this person's name is Dr. Savage 84. The person called just stay on the line for me real quick. I just want to address this comment, and then we're going to go to your call. Is that okay? Caller?
Hello?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Just stay on the line, and then I'm going to go to your call.
Sure.
Okay. So this person in the chat, Dr. Savage 84, he's making these videos saying, oh, I'm a shill. And I see this comment he left. He says, what's he write? He says, I'm doing this work to make money, or I wouldn't have the time if I was balancing out a slave job. So like if that's your real thought and that's why you're making videos and saying I'm a shill, I know the reason you're doing that is because you have too little information. The reality is I did this for 5 years for free. And the reason I didn't need to balance out a slave job is because I was smart and I saved and worked hard, from the time I was a teenager until the time I was 30. And I'd figure out a way to live on $1,000 a month max. I could easily live on $500 a month. And because I did that, and because I had savings, and I lived very modestly and just pretty much day and night just worked on this and didn't really have much else of a life, I was able to put out all the content I did for those 5 years. I didn't make a profit off this work until last August. So about a year ago. That was, the first time that, well, okay, technically I could say last March, but all I did in last March, because my YouTube channel was deleted, was let people know through my blog that my book was for sale. And since not many people read the blog, there was almost no book sale. Some people bought it like that first week of March. I think it sold like 100 copies the first week. And I was working at the time, so I didn't really promote it until August, when I got an internet connection reestablished and was no longer banned from YouTube because I had a new IP address because I moved. And from that time on, it was around the time Aretha Franklin died, people started to find my work again, and people started to buy the book. So money has been coming in for this work since August. And consider, I've sold about 10,000 copies of the book. I've sold them for $5 a piece. And out of those $5, I've gotten a little more than 80%. So I've gotten like $4.10. So for 5 years of work to sell a book that generates about 41,000 revenue, you know, is that, you know, doing it for money? And of course, people have supported my Patreon page, and you can't fault me for that. But anyway, to say that I'm just doing this for money is BS, because the other part of the story you're not understanding is what I could have done instead of spend the time going full board on this research. When I first started doing these videos, the other thing I had going in my life was my own business. I had my own medical marijuana delivery service, producing the plant, finding customers, you know, and that business was opened at the right time, and it was very lucrative. I could have just focused on that full time. You know, I'd be way further ahead financially. I mean, honestly, that job very often brought in over $1,000 revenue per day. That's not profit, but still revenue. And, you know, I could have just focused on that. I could have made a whole lot more money than I will ever make selling my book. And that's sad, actually, because the book's a whole lot more important. I do think medical marijuana is an important thing, but, you know, the book's even more important. The book's one of a kind. So anyway, I made a huge sacrifice. I gave up, and I didn't give it up. Realize I did have it when I started this research. And I had 2 people working for me, and that was all destroyed, I believe, because of doing this work. You know, there's no secret who destroyed the operation. That was as clear as day, especially when the officers showed up laughing, talking about how they'd never seen a nicer grow. So, you know, like they'd already been there, like, you know, the fruits of the labor was probably back at their own place type of thing. But that happened to me. That business was destroyed shortly after investigating the local high school shooting just north of Seattle, just before voting time, you know. The one where they emphasized how the young shooter was so fascinated with the number 33, that's why he wore the jersey number 33. You know, just putting the truth in front of people's face. People don't realize that there is rituals being performed around numbers. But anyway, you know, I could have gone a whole different path. I could have never shared this knowledge with anybody. I could have kept it to myself. Could have just used it to gamble myself, you know. Could have been totally greedy with it and could have just focused on something that was a successful business and was bringing in, you know, enough to support a growing company of 3 people. And that was all destroyed. And so anyway, if you're out there and you think you're exposing me, actually all you're doing is you're creating more of the reason why more people don't speak out. This is why people don't speak out. They're like, wow, I'm going to put myself out there and do something to make a sacrifice. And then I have some idiots troll me and make videos and spread rumors because they're bored and they don't know what they're talking about. So, no, it's a joke. It's a joke to say that I'm doing this for money. I lost a lot of money to do this. I lost a business to do this. I had a car crash through my house on Christmas Eve, and I had to fight an insurance company for 5 months with a hole in my house and still end up paying out a ton of money because they said because my house was built in, you know, whatever year it was, 1960, whatever, there was depreciation between then and 2016, and then they couldn't cover the, you know, the cost of the repair. And it's just like, so seriously, because I had someone crash through my house for Christmas Eve and I'm insured, I have to pay out this much money and fight you for 5 months to, because I mean, it was a joke. They wanted me to pay almost the entire thing. They were for everything that was getting estimates of around $30,000 to repair at least. The insurance wanted to pay out like $4,500 at first. It's like, really? So I have to pay almost $30,000 to get my house fixed. And I have insurance, what I pay insurance for, and I've never made a claim before. So, no, that was just like a nightmare, and it was grueling and fighting with insurance every day, and then finally having to settle so that I only have to pay like $10,000, which felt like a huge victory from where we started. You know? So anyway, people like you who make videos and attack and you know, just talk your BS, you're the reason more people don't speak out, because they see idiots like you And they go, see, I don't want to put myself out there. I have some idiot like that making a video about me. Guy who calls himself a doctor online. Dr. Savage. Unless you're Michael Weiner, then I would get it. For people who don't know, Michael Weiner's a Jewish talk show radio host, big tough guy in San Francisco. If you never listened to his show, you know, that guy's been real hate speech on the radio for decades. Teaches a lot of men to be douchebags in our society. Michael Weiner goes by the name Michael Savage. So. I just get, you guys, I get trolled all day. If you're not on my Patreon page, you should go on there to see how many trolls just live on there 24/7, 365. I just realized that I can't get rid of the trolls, but when we have this community, we'll be able to keep out the trolls. There'll be ways to block, you know, IP and email address. So we'll have some real targeted things to keep out the trolls. That's for sure. I have ISIS in my chat. I'm sure it's somebody trolling. Oh, shoot, man. I forgot about the caller. I am so terrible. I'm sorry, caller, man. You're wrong.
Zachary Hubbard?
That's me, man. Sorry. I was being Zachary Hubbard.
Hey, no problem. I actually called you a couple months ago during the NBA playoffs. I'm not sure if you remember. We're talking specifically about the numbers and how a lot of the sports games, the numbers, the juice related to all the numbers is directly correlated to all the gematria of it all.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so let me get to the point. If you look in the book of Philadelphia, the Lord speaks to a trio of words called the hour of temptation, which is going to be a judgment that comes upon the whole world. And the gematria value of it is 21681, 21681. So I said, wow, that's pretty fascinating, right?
Indeed.
And then I proceeded to enter in the trio of words, my fellow citizens, which encompasses everyone involved in this thing. Same exact gematria value, 21681, 21681. And so the more and more you do a thorough investigation of the Bible, it's saturated with connecting a whole bunch of gematria dots. And one of the numbers, or there's actually a few numbers that I noticed are very connected, and specifically dealing with the word fire. I kept noticing this repetitive pattern. So if you go to the book of Daniel, there's a trio of words that God uses repeatedly, and you can understand why, because God is basically sending a message. Basically, a long story short, when a few of the Jewish captives, specifically Daniel, was in the kingdom of Babylon, to anyone who wasn't worshiping one of the golden images that the king had set up, they were going to get thrown into a fiery, burning furnace. And so I noticed in the value of that has the number 297. And I noticed that number kept coming up whenever I enter phrases that had to do with fire regarding the Bible. And so I said, what is it about this number 297? It seems like such a random number, but it continues to pop up. And so does the number 81 when dealing with fire, and so does 216. For example, the flame of the fire has a gematria value of 297 as 81 and 90. Burned with fire, again, straight from the Bible, has gematria value of 81 and 2 ciphers and 216. So there goes those numbers again. And there's a few others.
But basically, to get to my main point, last night, you know how certain events in history, they kind of stick in your head, but you don't really investigate them?
Sure.
Last night, I got to thinking, I was like, okay, since I'm seeing this pattern regarding the Bible with fire and judgment, I said, let me investigate the Great Chicago Fire. And sure enough, as a Gematria value, that includes the number 297, and it has the number 90 in two ciphers, and the other number is 135. So I was like, wow. I said, okay, this is way more than a coincidence. I said, whenever God brings down judgment and it deals specifically with fire, I have the number 297, 81 pops up a lot, and 216, and 108. So I said, okay, there's definitely a pattern going on here. So when I Googled Great Chicago Fire, which happened in, I believe, 1871, like I said, it had those numbers, 297, 90 in both ciphers. And then I did a little more in-depth research regarding, or just flat-out reading, and they said the estimated damage cost was $222 million. I said, wow, that's an interesting number. Why would they put that out there? Why isn't it like not 220 million or something around that area? 222. And so when you spell out 222, it shares 3 out of the 4 same values that Great Chicago Fire does. 90 twice, and again, that number 297. So I said, wow, this massive tragedy that happened had to have been orchestrated. As an unknown cause, it was the biggest fires and one of the biggest tragedies in American history. Unknown cause, supposedly. And the value of unknown cause has 44 and 64. That ties into a lot of what you always talk about with those two numbers. And I believe the family who's supposedly, the story has it that it happened in a barn that was owned by the O'Leary family. One of the Gematria values, if you type in the O'Leary family, 77. And that's a different story for a different time. That'll be a different conversation I would do. The number 77 pops up so many times with regards to everything related to life. It almost makes you like intoxicated. Like it's almost like every other thing that pops in my head to check the Gematria value of, that's the number 77. But anyways, back to the Great Chicago Fire. I believe it started on Decoven Street, and that has a Gematria value in one of the ciphers of 71, and the fire happened in 1871. So I started connecting all these dots, and after listening to your work and what you have to say about these big events that happen in this country, and I connected it with all the values that I see with fire and the Bible.
Yeah, you're doing it, man. Because I think that's where really, I think if we decode the Bible enough, we'll figure out where a lot of the roots are of these things. Tell me again, where did the 297 come in?
297 pops in all the time with phrases from the Bible dealing with fire. So does 216. So does 81.
Do you have a blog post showing the Bible verses and the decodes so that people can check it out?
I don't, but to not eat up too much time here, what I could do is email you all the specific Bible verses.
Yeah, I would love that, man. I'll make a video out of it. Yeah, I'll credit it to you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right.
Honestly, it's not even about and it kind of segues into what you're always having to defend yourself. This isn't about any individual. This is about us. If you want to call it serving God in any way we can, just to help spread the truth. It's not about getting our name out there. It's good that you can make money off this stuff because let's face it, man. I mean, in order to establish yourself, you have to have some money in this country. It's just the way it works. But let's see here. Okay, and the Great Chicago Fire. I need to ask you, did you ever, do like thorough research regarding it?
I do have some work on the Great Chicago Fire. It's been a while since I touched it, but yeah, I know a lot of things that are curious about. The start address was 137. I forget what street number street it is, but I do remember the 137 at the address, and they say it burned 3.3 square miles, if I remember right, plus a whole lot of other things. So.
Yeah, and what really compelled me to call you about this was the further I was reading, one of the main, God, I don't know what word I would want to use, but his name was Gordon with a U, Hubbard.
Huh.
I was like, wow.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, he was a fur trader and a land inspector, and he was in charge of helping reestablish the city of Chicago.
Yeah, very interesting. Hey, man, well, awesome call. And I'm going to go back and rewind this part of the video and listen to everything you said again. But, yeah, please do send me that email. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, there's also several Bible verses that have to do with 222. Turn again to the Lord. It's 222.
Hey, brother,
They're just,
I really appreciate it. Send me that thing. I got it. I'm going to take this call real quick. But send me that email. And thank you so much. Awesome work.
All right.
All right, take care, man. All right, see you. Is this a call for an uprising?
It is. Do I get a true seeker? Give me one. Come on.
What's up, true
Troll
seeker?
times.
What's up, true seeker? I don't know if you're a real true seeker though, man. So it's hard for me to be genuine with it.
Come on. We go back. We go forth. We got a great rivalry. We have one of the most historic rivalries here on YouTube.
Do we?
I mean, it's pretty good. It's like a Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart kind of thing, you know?
Well, honestly, I think most people know who you are, but I think most people don't. So.
Oh, come on now. We're past that, are we not?
Well, I got to admit, you have a lot bigger following. So, It's funny. I got to tell you something funny. That's a compliment. Real quick, let me tell you this. So every time I've ever met with anybody in public, and I've met with quite a few people when I was in Seattle, already in this little small town, I've met with 2 husband and wife couples. And it's funny that every time I meet with a group of people, I get asked several questions, but there's always 3 questions I get asked. I swear, every time. Do I like your channel? Do I like Richie from Boston? Do I like Russian Vince? And I just realized, I'm like, man, everybody who watches me watches those 3 channels.
So you just go, no, no, no. But who do you hate most? I guess it's a real question, right?
I've never told anybody who I hate the most. No. I've
already talked on the record. I've apologized, for how things were handled with the Pizzagate stuff. I mean, I was a little ridiculous, and I could look at that in hindsight. So whether you want to accept it or not, it's up to you. It doesn't matter. I mean, the thing I respect about you is the fact that you'll fight back. Like you're not going to be like. And you're not going to do dirty tactics. You'll just tell me off back. I'll tell you off. And, we have that in common, which, we don't have much in common, but we have that in common. So at least we have we'll go up to each other and get each other's face if we saw each other in real life. But now, if I got up in your face or you got up in mine, somebody else would come over and say we're assaulting them. So, we live in such a pussy cutter world. So.
We do. They really are making it that way. But, yeah, there's no more.
We can't say anything. And it's almost like came to the point where, like last year during the stuff at, at the thing in Florida, which, I don't want to say any words to trigger your channel. We were doing the same kind of videos. I mean, it was one of the most ridiculous things we've all ever seen in our lives, with the people involved and blah, blah, blah. I won't say any more than that, but you know what I'm talking about. And, it's just funny, you know what I mean? Like where sometimes it's just like, an enemy of your enemy becomes your friend in a sense where like, not we're friends. Like, I don't like stuff you say about Christian stuff, but like, you don't like the stuff I say about certain stuff. And it can go back and forth day and night, but at the end of the day, it's like, I know 100% you believe in free speech and I believe in free speech, which means like if somebody wants to literally come on my channel and call me a pussy and call me anything they want, they can. And I feel like you feel the same way. And we're at the standpoint now where it's like we can't even talk about men dressing as women, or we're considered hateful people and bigots, and we should be thrown off the internet. We should have a right to speak. And I mean,
really
there's so much stuff that.
Well, you're right, man, and it's all happened really fast. I mean, it's all happened in 10 years' time. So
look how fast it's happened the last 2 years.
You're right. It's accelerating. It's like a faster and faster moving object. So.
Yeah, I mean, and we were 2 years ago. It was like fighting about this, fighting about that. Flat Earth and people fighting for it, against it. All these different subjects, and now it's just like, do we have a right to even speak anymore? I mean, so it's almost like we don't have to be alliances, we don't have to be pals. But I mean, it's like I look at it and I just like I know that you're somebody who's getting killed. We're all like, it's like every day you wake up and you're just like, wait a minute, why can't I speak about a certain topic? Oh, because I said something about men dressing as women in drag, and it's suddenly hate speech. Imagine in 1995 or 2010. I mean, like people would be on the floor laughing. So,
right.
You have any advice about I took Cedric Benson in the second round of my fantasy draft around 1:00 today. Do I have a right to sue? Too soon?
You said, man. But by the way, how come you never share with your viewers about this knowledge?
Well, I've said it many times, and you know that because I know you still listen to me. Well, Gematria is something that I do believe in. I don't believe in. There's some stuff about it that I don't. I guess I don't understand. Right? It doesn't make anyone else smarter than the other person. With
okay, so here, real quick. Literally, like for the last 2 years, I've always told people to circle a date a month in advance. And I just say, watch, you're going to see this suspicious celebrity death on that date. And I have not been proven wrong for 2 years. And this month's winner is Cedric Benson. So, are you still there?
Wait, you gave the date on Cedric Benson.
Right. And I was talking about last month on the date where I gave a month in advance, and it was in relation to another dead NFL running back type of casualty, Beanie Wells' brother.
Who was that?
Beanie Wells' brother, who played for the Cardinals.
Yeah, I remember Beanie Wells. Cardinals, right?
Yeah, and he went to Ohio State. And every month, the reason I say it's that date is because it's the date with numerology of 64 and 44. And in Gematria, kill equals 64 and 44. So every month that date comes around, it's always a connection to some suspicious death in that number. And, this time he was hit by a minivan. Minivan equals 44 on the 44-64 date. Last month, Beanie Wells equals 44 and a few other things. He died 44 days before Ohio State's opening game of the season, when we've documented a few other things like that with some suspicious college football player deaths. But it's this way year after year.
Was it Beanie? It was his brother, or did Beanie Wells actually die?
Beanie Wells' brother was shot to death, and they put out a story that he offered $15,000 or something on Crime Stoppers for information. So I actually called Crime Stoppers and educated him about what goes on month after month, and even told the guy, just watch how the next 44-64 days. So here we are at Cedric Benson this time. But anyway, to me, this stuff seems elementary. Like I could teach it to like literally someone who was 6 years old, and they'd be able to follow the pattern and get it and share it with their mom or dad. Like, let's just say this was first grade. Not that I'd want to be teaching first graders about how athletes are murdered by a code, but I'm just saying if I had to, I feel that a first grader could grasp the concept, understand it, and share it with somebody else. So why can't so many other people in the truth community, including yourself, just educate on this once in a while?
But what if I did? What if I just suddenly did that? Wouldn't
you have a huge audience?
Like, well, he's stealing it from me.
Of course not. Have I ever accused anybody of that?
If this is your thing, it's your niche. Like we all are given different gifts.
But it shouldn't be my niche. It should be knowledge that's in the truth community so people can come to understand. I mean, you say you're trying to expose the satanic cabal.
Of course.
This is how the satanic cabal operates every month, killing somebody. What if more people were aware of that and they could follow the pattern and see like, wow, every month this is happening? Because it is.
But what if all of a sudden I just read your book and then I just totally stole your thunder?
Dude, I told people.
Would you say that I was stealing your thunder and copying your work?
No, I wouldn't.
I don't sit here and copy people's work. I do what I feel drawn to do, which I feel like that's what you do. I mean, I look at you, I know you're doing what you feel led to do, whether you're wrong or you're right. That's what you feel led to do. And you could say the same thing about me. You could say, well, some of the stuff I do is stupid. Or I've heard you a million times, like, nothing he says is important, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But I mean, what if I really did? What if I just took everything you did and I said it? You'd be pretty pissed off, wouldn't you?
I wouldn't, because look at a channel like Russian Vids. For a while, that's what he was doing. I was like, look at that. Well, I was glad because Russian Vids had a decent subscriber amount. But then all of a sudden he started attacking me too, and I was like, wait a minute. Now he's using my work and he's attacking me? I said, now that's messed up. And then that's where my whole problem with him began.
I think you guys did a lot of different work, though. I mean, I feel like that there's a bunch of people who do gematria stuff, and you all have different voices, you know.
Who brought this to YouTube? Who brought this to the YouTube community?
I'm not. I mean, I'm not sure. Maybe you. Maybe
it was me.
Vids.
It was
I'll
me.
go between the two.
It was me. And see, now there's all these people that troll and say Russian Vids brought it, and it was like, that is such crap, man. The guy never covered that subject until well after he was introduced to my work. Guaranteed.
Well, I still think Russian Vids does great work, whether you like him or not. I'm not gonna throw him.
But the point is that he used my work and attacked me.
His best work is on the shootings and stuff, and how he evaluates the stuff, the evidence, and all that. But that's just me.
Which he's not always the best about. Which is why he made like 10 videos saying the car crashing through my house was a hoax with really dumb observations that were based out of pure ignorance.
That's from a personal perspective.
The guy looked at my neighbor's yards. I live in Washington State where there's trees everywhere. But listen, this is the kind of analysis Russian Vids does.
I make enemies. Me and you make enemies. So we got to at least.
But listen to this is what's wrong with Russian Vids. I'm going to explain something to you. Russian Vids, his analysis isn't good because I live in Washington State where there's trees everywhere. And in the video he made of the car crashing into my house, he saw the neighbor's trees in the background. And he said, those trees represent the two pillars. And I'm like, has this guy ever been to Washington State? Because everywhere you look, you're going to think it's represented by the two pillars. This is just an idiotic observation. And then the other thing that's wrong with Russian Vids, and see, the thing is, you two would always share the same videos you would make about each other slandering me. So you shared the video.
We're the same guy.
Huh?
So we're the same guy.
Well, you are accused of being the same guy.
I know. Aren't we not the same guy?
Well, I don't have any proof that you're the same guy.
Do we sound the same? I don't know. I feel like I don't sound the same. But if I do, hey.
Your voice is not the same as his. But, I mean, people have accused you guys of being the same.
No offense to Russian Vids. My voice is a little nicer. No offense, RB. No offense.
Yeah. So, anyhow.
No, I understand.
But the point is, you shared the content you made.
I didn't do any videos about attacks.
You've never apologized for these things. You've never apologized for these things. You shared the videos he made, and you made a bunch of videos slandering me too.
No.
And see, the thing is,
I didn't do any videos about the house. I apologized to you, but right when we started this video, I apologized to you.
Well, you didn't apologize for specific things.
I said I jumped on you in the live stream.
You've helped spread a lot of false information about me. I would say that the majority of people who hear my name, it's already been associated because you have a bigger outreach than me with all of the lies. Because I'm always just finding that. People come here, they're like, oh, I heard his name is actually Joshua Greenblatt. And it's just like, well, why do people think that? They think that because of people like you.
You said some pretty harsh stuff to me, but I apologized about the argument we got. And I said I jumped on you a little bit. And you jumped on me a little bit.
I'm going to see how much of a man you are. If you can call me about being wrong about any of this, I just want to see if you really want to apologize and mean it. I'm going to find out. Because let's remember what happened. Well, you and Jeff C were making fun of me on a Wednesday night. I remember exactly how it was because I got off air and I was just getting bombarded with all these messages. Call for an uprising, and Jeff C are just bashing on you so hard right now. And I was like, why would they be talking about me? I don't even know those guys.
Well, you were in the chat for a while, but okay.
No, I was not in the chat. I was doing my radio show on TFR. I was definitely not in your chat. I have a 3-hour show on that night. When I finished that,
oh, you did? Okay.
So,
all right, fair enough.
So I hopped on your show, and it was the first time I ever listened to you. Honestly, I had never come across any of your content before that. And
yeah, but you had mentioned. No, that's not true because you had mentioned me in a video, and you said why doesn't a call for uprising ever mention gematria? So you planted a seed in my head, which pissed me off. And I told you that before.
Well, that doesn't mean I followed your content. It's just you're a channel that a lot.
Downloaded it. I'm not going to go back into it, but you did mention me. Don't say you've never.
Well, I was aware of who you were. I'd heard your name because you have. So that you have to understand. You have a popular YouTube channel. You have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, right? So when you do something, it creates a lot of buzz. So like for me, who doesn't have that kind of
following? You believe in different things, though. I believe in Jesus Christ. You don't. There's things that.
Well, I'm not sure that that's true. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I just want to go over and revisit this point, And then I'm going to ask you about your spirituality, because to me it doesn't make sense. I was raised a Lutheran. I know a lot about being a Christian and following the teachings of Jesus. That's what I grew up on. And from what I learned, you don't fit that description. So we're going to get to that. But first, I want to go back to what happened. Hold on. I just want to go back to what happened. I want to revisit it to see if your apology is sincere. Because if somebody apologizes, they should mean it. And I'm not sure that you really mean it. So I'm going to find out if I'm wrong about you tonight based on what you say. So, radio show. I get off and I just have 1,000 comments that you guys are talking about me. So I'm like, wow, a lot of people are listening to the show and I guess they're saying some stuff about me. So I log in and sure enough, you guys are making fun of me. And I'm just like, why are these guys talking about me tonight? I don't make videos about them. They have bigger followings than me. Why are they talking about me? And you have to understand how frustrating this is to me. I'm someone who has been working like day and night. I don't have the following that I should at the time based on what I'd already proven and accomplished. And then I have people like you bad-mouthing and making fun of my work, and you're calling yourself Truth, and you're just, you make it a lot harder for a smaller channel, because now every day you're getting bombarded with people commenting about how you've been exposed. And it's just like, dude, these people are talking about things that they don't understand, and why are they attacking me instead of supporting what I've been bringing to the community? Because you did that, if I'm not mistaken, in the winter of 2016. And what had I been doing? I've been working for over 3 years straight trying to further this message and prove the relevance of this work and how the satanic cabal truly operates. And here you are saying you're trying to expose the satanic cabal, but then here's somebody who's actually doing it, and then you're dissing their work. And why? So you let me on your show that night, and what happened to you, we both know what honestly happened. After we did that debate, your following said Zach doesn't even refer to himself as a Christian, and he looked like the Christian between all three of you. And you had that comment posted 1,000 times plus. Me, dude? Trust me, dude.
You're really going there now?
That is a fact, though. Remember exactly what happened. Hold on. I came on 48 hours later. Hold on, because I want to hear you apologize for this, because you know it's true. 48 hours later, you're uploading a video and saying, don't blame this on my debate with Zach, but I'm just so burnt out, and I'm going to take a break, and I'm not sure I'm going to come back. And you did. You came back a month later, and the first video you put out was a hour-plus long thing with all lies about me. And have you ever apologized for that? Because that is the most known piece.
Everything in the video.
That's the most. Listen, that is the most watched video in the history of YouTube about me. So that's what most people know about me. Thanks to you. Hold on. The truth was, though, and we both know that you did see those messages, because that's all that was written. And when I reposted the video, the same types of messages were being left on my channel saying, you made him look like he was a, satanic maniac. And that is exactly why you quit for a minute. And that's exactly why you were so pissed off.
Until 3 months ago, I haven't lost any subscribers. You can go on Social Blade and look through my
I never said you lost subscribers, but you did disappear for a month, and that is the first thing you did when you came back. I never said you lost subscribers. You're bigger than you were now.
So when Pizzagate happened, right? What do we hear about Pizzagate? We hear about Mike Cernovich, all these alt-right guys that we know are shows, right? Agreed?
Okay.
Mike Cernovich, these guys that we know they're full of shit.
I don't spend enough time with any of their work, man. I'm so busy with mine. I honestly, I can't give an informed comment.
You say that about my channel, and then you say, and then you listen. So then you tell me that I should be talking about Gematria when it's your thing, and it's the same thing. It's like, why would you tell me to talk about what you talk about?
Okay, let me interrupt and interject. Why? Because your things is taking a story that's popular and giving your commentary, which is essentially very redundant, and inspired with here's the last time I watched one of your videos. It popped up in my feed. It was talking about something with McDonald's and something that they were promoting. Was there like a McDonald's Jesus related story? You did some story on McDonald's and Jesus and just how much it pissed you off. That was the last time I watched your video, and that was probably around 6 months ago. That was probably around 6 months ago, whenever that video came out. So that's the last time I watched one of your videos. But the point is, what I have to do every day takes what I do every day takes work. I have to work to produce the information I do. It takes time. To take a tabloid story and just do your commentary, that's easy. I could load up, the front page of people.com and give an inspired rant about the satanic cabal and do the same shit every day without giving any evidence. I'm not saying that you're wrong. You and I agree on what's going on in the world, but every day I have to work to prove how this is being orchestrated. Do you understand that I'm trying to help people stop being murdered? The work I did could prevent the next Cedric Benson death if the knowledge went viral. How does ranting about, how McDonald's, their mockery of Jesus makes you want to beat...
Cedric Benson didn't die in a car accident?
Dude, you know where we started with this conversation. Everything... Listen.
Then why did I draft him at 1 o'clock today?
Well, Cedric Benson hasn't played in the NFL since, 2012? So I don't know how you could possibly draft a retired player for 7 years.
It's a joke. That's why. Do you have a personality? Come on, sir.
Well... You just made a comment that just seemed dismissive of what I'm saying. The work I do shows how the satanic cabal truly operates. How does your work prove that, how does your work prove anything that you assert each day? How does it prove it?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, of course you can.
I think the most common thing people see in you is that you're always narcissistic about this stuff instead of just going, you know what? They don't have to talk about what I talk about. They don't have to care about what I talk about. You're very
your contribution to this work is slandering it. Have you ever done anything to offset the slandering?
Zach, if the contributions you gave to the sporting events was legit, you'd be a millionaire. You bet every one of these games. I mean, that's the only way to put it.
I live in Washington State where it's all illegal and where I'm audited. And here's a serious question for you. Have you ever lived anywhere? Listen, the reason I have a following, on Patreon, hold on. The reason I have a following on Patreon is because I help people win every day. My bad days aren't that bad. People win consistently. Go back and listen to what people have called in. Has anybody called you this year and said, thank you so much. You helped me go from $50 to $10,000. I could finally afford to get off my debt and get my car back out of the shop and get working again. Has anybody given you that call this year? Because I've gotten that call several times. So listen, I'm not big on gambling.
Not to gamble.
Okay, I don't disagree. I don't like gambling personally. But the knowledge that I have has helped a lot of people win a lot of money. Did you help anybody win $300,000 on the Super Bowl last year? Because I did. That's why I have a following on Patreon. That's why people have invested. And it shouldn't be about gambling, but I am trying to build a movement, and this is what people support. So I have to go.
I'm not here to start a fight with you, but you seem to think that.
Well, I'm just tired of the same idiotic comments and arguments. If my knowledge wasn't legit, then people wouldn't win off it every single day, practically.
You're saying that the Gematria is not legit. Am I saying that? No.
You just made a comment that I would be a millionaire. I'm explaining why I don't gamble. I live in a state where it is illegal. My reality was that I had a police officer park outside of my house every night for 8 months straight until the day he didn't show up and never came back again was the day it was burglarized. It was very clear that they were getting down my schedule. Okay. Have you ever had these situations in your life? Have you had a car crash through your house on Christmas Eve? Have you gotten death threats in the mail? Do people know what your name is, your phone number, your address? People don't even know who you are. So you're sitting there judging and making these comments, and somebody's actually doing this in real life. Somebody's given up a lucrative business of their own. Somebody's working their ass off to promote something that's important because they know they've figured out what the fuck the satanic cabal's doing. And then a person like you who could help spread this work and further the cause, instead of doing that, you make a video making fun and talking shit, and then you say you apologize, but you haven't apologized, and you've proven that.
Where's
so look,
the video?
Last topic. How are you a Christian? Let's change the topic. How are you a Christian?
My channel anymore. It's nowhere to be found on my channel.
It doesn't matter. It's spread everywhere. It's re-uploaded everywhere. It did its damage. It doesn't matter if it's not on your channel anymore.
So much. It's over with. It's
okay.
Done.
So you've shown me something. Now explain to me how you're a Christian because I was raised a Lutheran. How are you a Christian? Because you're not the type of Christian I was ever raised to understand as a Christian. How are you Christian?
It's worse than when you were on with me and Jeff. Can I talk?
You can talk. How are you a Christian?
Dude, we're in a standpoint where none of us are even allowed to talk, and you want to fight me over something. Look, do you want to be the king of the truth movement? Go ahead.
No, I don't want to be the king of it, but I want people to help spread the work. How is going on and ranting the same, 20 talking points you have about the satanic cabal? How's that forwarding anything?
If I did Gematria videos tomorrow, you would do a video and make fun of me like I was polarization.
Of course I wouldn't.
Or someone else.
I've never made fun of anybody. Listen. The reason I have to keep cutting you off is because of things you just said. Why are you referencing Polarization Nation, somebody who's made so many videos falsely accusing me of things, and who?
I'm talking about people who talk about Gematria.
Well, sometimes I wonder if you guys are all in the network, because you guys are all the same group of people that make all the videos that attack me.
They have videos on me. Are you kidding me, man? Come on. You got to take a chill pill. You're too strung up on this stuff.
Dude, Polarization Nation, though, that guy literally made a video accusing me of being something I'm not, while showing footage of literally hacking my PayPal account. I mean, the guy's crazy.
Me? He's done the same shit to me. I mean, the point is that if I did a video tomorrow and I was like, I've got the Gematria code, you would get so pissed off.
No, I wouldn't.
You would literally do a video.
I wouldn't.
You would email me and you would, who the fuck are you to talk about Gematria? You don't know, blah, blah, blah. And I would understand.
Okay,
that.
all right, then make a video tomorrow and see if that's my response, then, if you know that's what I'm going to do. You make the video tomorrow. You make the video tomorrow.
I don't.
Here, I got an idea for the video. You can say, you know what? I was wrong 3 years ago to make fun of this knowledge, and I'm going to apologize. You know, for 2 years, Zach said to circle a date on a calendar, and there will be a celebrity death, and there has by the exact same code that he talks about every single month. You know, I was wrong about this.
I never made fun of the knowledge. We got in a fight and an argument, like two men will get into in the year 2019 or 2018. Actually, that was 2017. Right? Does that not happen? You said you played sports your whole life. You never get in a fight with anyone? Have you had an argument since me and you?
Dude, I lived in the principal's office growing up, man. I lived in the principal's office.
What's the deal? It's not a big deal. You know, we got in a fight. We got in an argument. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for you. We went back and forth. You told me to go fuck myself. I told you stuff I shouldn't have said. It wasn't it just was stupid. And I never sat there after the fact, you know, maybe like right away. But I mean, it's done. It's over with. You know, like why would we keep it going? We've already ended it. I mean, this is what YouTube is, right? Fuse.
I just explained why, man, because you damaged the work I was doing. You helped associate this work. Of course you did. You had a huge impact. You had a huge negative impact.
No, that's not true. If anything, people found out. Look at your channel right now, and you've come back in 1 year. You have 66,000 subs.
I'm on my 18th channel. You think that's been easy?
You know how impressive it is? And listen, if you email me, I'll tell you ways you can get around the algorithm, because I have them. And you might say, oh, you're full of shit.
But you're not around the algorithm either. All your stuff's down. Everyone's getting screwed.
I know, but there's ways around certain stuff, and you know that with the words and stuff that we say. Listen, you want to be enemies to the end of time? I got no problem. We could be like Hogan and the Macho Man, whatever you want, dude. I didn't come on here to fight with you, okay?
Hold on, before you go, though, I got to hear it. I got to hear it, man. How are you a Christian? What teachings of Jesus do you actually follow?
I follow all the teachings of Christ. Why?
No, you don't, man. He taught to turn the other cheek. You're not a turn the other cheek person. You even said that.
Why? Because I'm more eye for an eye? That's not necessarily
eye for an eye is Old Testament. It's exactly opposite of Jesus.
It depends on what an enemy
is. It's the exact opposite. It's the exact opposite.
Oh, define an enemy. Define an enemy. Define that. Turn the other cheek. An enemy. Eye for an eye.
No, define it. That's not what it means, man. Turn the other cheek means you get punched in one cheek, you turn the other cheek to take in the other cheek, man. That's what turn the other cheek is.
That's not true. That's bullshit.
No, it's the exact opposite of an eye for an eye. So.
Turn the other cheek versus, okay, so a Satanist who is promoting all sorts of satanic activity and all this stuff towards a child, or it depends on the situation. You can't sit there and say that. You sound like everybody in the mainstream media now.
No.
And you said you weren't.
Listen, part of the reason I decided that I wasn't, listen, I got kicked out of confirmation class because I asked too many questions. And I was made to speak with the rest of the graduating class. And I couldn't believe they were going to have me speak since I was not part of the class. But I still remember the facial expressions on the congregation because I gave a speech about why I wasn't religious anymore. And I wasn't just going to believe in something where the teacher couldn't answer any of my questions, and I got kicked out of class for it. So
if you saw a grown man molesting a child, you would just go turn the other cheek, or would you knock him out?
Dude, that's different. That's different. You're defending somebody being violated.
No, it's not different. How is it different? Tell me.
Because you're saving another life. You're talking about, I mean,
That's
just
not
go
what
listen to your own
Christ is
videos.
talking about?
It's not the same, man.
What do you mean it's not
so here's
the
the
same?
point. Oh, here's what I was going to say. The part of the reason I decided I wasn't going to be about this religion is because I didn't agree with things like that. You know, exactly, because it does put you in a pickle. And you know what? What you're describing is our society. We see the world getting murdered, and most of us just sit by and just wait for Jesus to come save it. You know?
Okay, but what did Christ do to the Pharisees? What did Christ do to all these fake Jews in the temple? What did he do?
That's the most violent he ever got. That's the most violent he ever
Right.
got. He threw the table. So
Not just through the table. Think about the parables that he said to the Pharisees and how he got in their faces and he spoke to them about how out of the mouths of children, that was perfected praise over the Pharisees. Because the Pharisees and all these adults, all these fake Jews were so wrong.
well, I don't disagree with that, man. But I mean, he doesn't get violent. Does Jesus get in a fight in the Bible?
Well, have I gotten a fight?
You're always
Yeah,
advocating
yelling
kicking
at
people's ass. You are.
You
You're
told me you
advocating fighting.
told me you were going to hit me with a baseball bat.
What?
So what do you want me to? You told me you were going to hit me with a baseball bat.
Dude, don't even try, man. If anybody wants to go look up the videos and call for an uprising, man, and things he said about me, don't even listen to that statement. Go listen to the things this man said. You said some psychotic shit, dude. You said some psychotic shit, literally.
So you don't accept you don't take forgiveness. You don't take.
I do
apologies.
accept forgiveness if it's genuine. I don't accept forgiveness if the person goes right back and doing the same thing. Dude, if a guy comes and takes a shit on my doormat and he says, man, I'm so sorry, man. I didn't mean to shit on your doormat. I just had diarrhea and it was the wrong place, wrong time. I'm so sorry. But then if he comes back the next day and shits on my doormat again, then I know he's not sincere. You know what I mean?
Are you ever wrong? That's my question for you. Because I think that's the common theme is that, you know, there's a lot of people, a lot of channels, and it's like you're always the center of like this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I guess it's like a Stone Cold Steve Austin kind of look or whatever. Like you don't want to be friends with anyone. I'm down with that.
It's not like that at all, man. It's not like that at all.
Everybody who talks to you just seem to attack, and it's like, do you want anybody here? I mean, you had Bartley Gerba, you had No More News,
okay.
You had me.
Okay, hold on. Bartley Gerba, for people who know about this guy, I took that guy out to eat twice, and one time I went through like the worst traffic in the world just to meet him, just to listen to him tell me about like how much his ex had screwed him over. I mean, he just needed somebody to talk to. I sat there and bought him something, got him food, got him drinks, listened to him talk, listened to him just talk for like 3 straight hours. He didn't even really want to talk to me. He just wanted someone to talk to. And then after that, I met him again and bought him a meal. And dude, he ordered up, man, this appetizer, drink. I mean, if somebody invites me out, I'm going to order the most modest thing on. I'm not going to get a drink. I've always been, trust me, man, I did grow up poor. You know, I was raised poor, so I know what it's like, and I respect people's money. But dude, Bartley Gerber was ordering up. And then next thing I know, this dude's making videos attacking me for real. I mean, that's what's wrong with this. It's like, wow, I met this dude. I took the time. You know, I was nice to him. And then all of a sudden he's making videos. And what's he attacking me for? Some bullshit. Because I made a thing trying to raise money for a book tour just before YouTube totally screwed me over.
Right, so are you
hold on. I made a video about trying to raise money to do a book tour to go around and promote this knowledge. And and I made a joke in there that if it goes well, I might even run for president. That was obviously a joke written down just in the paragraph that I wrote about the thing. You got to write something there. I try to interject some humor. And this guy makes a video attacking me over that. It's like, wow, I've met this guy. This guy knows where I live. I've been cool to him. And he's going to seriously attack me over this line that I wrote down here. I mean, that's exactly what's wrong. That's why people don't put themselves out there. But notice, I've gone through nothing but shit, lost everything, you know, been abandoned by friends and family, been attacked by everyone in the. You say that I have the confrontation problem. I have confrontation problems with people who attack me for no reason, which is a group I'd put you in.
Yeah. You attacked me first, and I have video.
Because I asked why you don't share this work. That's not an attack. That's saying, why don't you share this work?
That's why I apologize, because I said it triggered me.
Why does that trigger you? Why do you go, well, why am I not sharing this work? Or why didn't you make a video?
Because I thought because it pissed me off. That's why. So I don't know why.
So how are you anything like Jesus? How are you anything like Jesus or a Christian?
Pissed him off.
Your whole personality is attack, divide. That wasn't Jesus. Jesus was turn the other cheek, bring people together, forgive people for their differences.
That's why you support Jesus so much, and all you do is bash Christians.
That's not true either. And I've always said I was raised Lutheran. I took all the good teachings. I tried to live by the golden rule.
You were raised lukewarm.
Well, I wouldn't say that, man. My mom was, I mean, she was serious. She had us in there every week.
But you can't sit here and be like, what? So I'm supposed to be singing Kumbaya to everybody because I yell people I'm not Christian? Come on, that's bullshit, and you know it.
No, I don't. It's not bullshit. And again, Christian, the Jesus message.
You're feeding into a racial stereotype for the most part. It's the same thing as being a racist. It's the same thing as cracking a racial stereotype. So I'm supposed to sit here and go Kumbaya because Jesus was saying Kumbaya. Because he wasn't. John the Baptist wasn't saying Kumbaya. Peter wasn't saying Kumbaya. And you know they aren't. You're making the face, you know. So don't give me that crap.
That's the thing, man. We can also see my face. We can see my face. Why don't we ever see your face?
It's too beautiful, you know.
Show the world then. See, that's what Jesus would do. If Jesus had a beautiful face, he'd go out and show it because he knows that would make people happy.
Well, why? So I can have somebody drive a car through my front lawn like it happened to you?
You'll survive. Look, I've shown you how bad it can be and that you can still survive. So if anything, I've shown that if you just persevere, you'll survive it all. Yeah.
That's what I want. I'm going to deal with the insurance company so that they won't pay for a car driving through my lawn so they can look at my YouTube channel and suddenly say, well, yeah, you're a real asshole. So somebody had a right to drive through your fucking lawn. No thanks.
So imagine that happened to you. Imagine that you put your face out there, you show your beautiful face with the world, and then, you know, you put it all out there, and then the next day somebody slanders you and a car crashes through your house. And then imagine that a YouTube channel that has 8 million subscribers started making videos saying that this guy's an idiot and he crashed it through his own house and made an hour-plus documentary with it. Just imagine if that happened to you. How would you feel?
I'd be pretty pissed off. But I never did that to you, did I?
Yeah, you did. That's exactly what you did. Well, you shared Russian Vince video. Same thing.
No, I didn't. That's 1,000% false. I never, ever talked about any car going through your lawn. And
you never shared any of Russian Vince videos on that.
Don't be a liar.
So, okay, I will admit that I could be wrong that you shared those videos, but you and him shared plenty of videos made about me.
Shit. Everything I did was about me and you personally. And it was back and forth. That's it.
Every video that was ever on his channel about me was on your channel and vice versa.
He might have shared some of mine. I never did a video about a car going through your lawn.
Okay. I'll say that I'm misremembering then, but you guys did share videos attacking me.
You know that's true. So let's be real. Otherwise, you wouldn't even talk to me if that was true, because you wouldn't forgive me for that. I never did that, and you know I didn't. And I told you that at the time when that stuff was going down and we were still going after each other. I said, I'm still not uploading anything about a car crash in your house. So.
Okay. So but really, what is Christianity to you then? What is Christianity?
Christianity is, well, I'm trying to think in the form of, to me, I mean, it's the belief in Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, that he came and died for our sins to give us salvation. And I believe that 1,000 trillion%.
Okay, so then what do you do with that? You just believe that he died for your salvation, and does that mean you can just do whatever you want on earth because believing you're going to be forgiven, even if you're an asshole?
No. It means a lot more than that. It means a lot more. It means everything that's in the Bible. I'm trying to abide by it. But I'm not perfect, and I never said I was. So you could sit here and be like, well, you're a total asshole and you're a piece of shit. Well, maybe to you, maybe at times I am, but I'm not, for people that know me at least. But
okay, so
Jesus Christ died.
Okay,
Jesus Christ died for our salvation. He died to end the Old Testament, to end everybody was now saved from that standpoint on to what we're living in now. Everybody can still be saved. Everybody. From people who follow your channel, who hate Jesus Christ, who hate me.
That's not true. People who follow me, man. I'd say most people who follow me probably believe in Jesus, honestly. They just can agree to disagree with me.
They probably don't know that you don't believe, because they probably would leave. Because most people come to my channel.
No, that's not true.
Like,
that's not everybody else.
And I say nothing, because I'm like, well, that's great, but I'm not going to tell you how he feels about Christ, because I'm not here to shit on your parade. And you can have your own belief, and I hope that one day you find Christ. But like, I'm not here to say, you want to sell books and you want to do this stuff with your channel and stuff. You can easily just be legitimately a regular person and be like, hey, I accept your apology, and you don't have to apologize to me. I don't really give a shit. And you could just come on and we could talk about certain stuff. But every time you do anything with anyone, you fight with everybody. You're almost like me, but you're worse because you fight more than I do. And you could promote it and say, "Hey,
that's not true, man. I've never created a single YouTube beef. I've only responded to videos made about me.
You've done stuff on. I saw the stuff with No More News. I mean, I've seen it with everybody. You're worse than I am.
No More News. Did you see what he did? He had me on for an interview, and then he was.
I'm here. I just get a single person, to come on a podcast. I mean,
so hold on. So No More News. A guy who had me on, and then after I was on and gave him a good interview, as much as he interrupted and didn't let me even finish things. What he did afterwards is he did the, how you do the heart thing if you really like a comment. He favorited every comment making fun of me, and I was like, really? So this guy's really out to expose the Zionist cabal, and he's going to make fun of this knowledge. And
why are you even looking at that stuff?
Huh?
Why are you even looking at that stuff? You're too old for that stuff. Let them do that then. And
because people leave comments. Because
at least went on a platform and I could tell people about what I believe.
So
if they want to follow my channel, they can follow it.
So, but anyway,
just be like, all right, whatever, screw that guy.
Anyway, so
that's what I do.
So
I've been on when they've done that to me, and I'm like, all right, whatever, screw them.
But again, so I'm just saying, No More News. I was polite to him. I gave him a free copy of my book. That day that I went on his show, he said he'd just been doxxed. He raised a bunch of money off saying he'd been doxxed. And he was just all freaked out. And I just said, man, I think the people who mess with us, I think they're mostly cowards and they just do things, but they won't actually like physically attack your being. I mean, that's been my experience. And so I was nice to him. And then anyway, after doing his interview, then he just favorites all the comments making fun of me. And how did I find out about that in the first place? Again, I get comments just like you. I get notifications when people start commenting like, hey, check out what No More News is doing in his comment section. And I look and I'm just like, oh, I see why this person wrote that. He's favoriting every comment and making fun of me. It's just like,
Do you get pissed off though? Because like channels like that, which are newer, get more subscribers or whatever. Because like I that's how I feel like you attacked me from the get-go. Which is fine, because you were here longer, and I can understand somebody going like, "Fuck this guy," if you feel like your work's better, which clearly you do, which you've already diminished anything I say, saying it's meaningless, which is fine, which is perfectly fine. I can still shake your hand and have go out and get chicken fingers or whatever.
Well, you should listen to the song "Backstabbers," man. You're like the guy that OJ sang about, "Backstabbers," man. You know that song? That song's about you. You're the kind of guy that can shake hands and smile in somebody's face, and then just, you don't mean anything. It's not really a warm gesture from you.
I'm 100% Italian, so there's no lack of loyalty in my blood. So that's one of the reasons I'm even talking to you, is because I think you're a legit dude. I mean,
so tell us more about you, since we can't see you. Tell us more about who you are, where you came from, how you arrived at doing this.
Why do you care? though, but why wouldn't you answer this?
Because I think it's important to know about the people who are out putting out content every day. Who are these people really? Like, I wanted to show people that anyone really can do this if they're determined to speak out and make a difference in the world. That's why I put my name and face out here from the beginning. And if you're so passionate, you know, why isn't it the same thing for you? Especially if you're so handsome, it shouldn't be a confidence issue. I remember exactly what you said. And if you are Italian, you probably are. Italians have good genetics. I'm not going to lie, man. You guys usually do well in the weight room. But I remember what you said. You're like, oh, I'm so much better looking than Zachary K. Hubbard and whatever. You're like, my physique's so much better. I mean, you were bragging about yourself. So it's like, well, why don't you put yourself on the screen?
That stuff triggers you. It bothers you.
No, but seriously.
I'm trying to trigger you. You still remember that? Come on.
How can I? Do you know how many times the videos and the clips have been shown, and people are like, "Click on this link in the time," and it just goes right to that point. So this is why I remember that stuff.
You started stuff.
I didn't start it, man. I didn't start it at all.
Stop. You did multiple.
I didn't start it at all. Listen, if you were a person of integrity, what you would have done after your debate and after the way you got comments, you would have come back and you would have said, you know what? You're right. Zachary K. Hubbard, who isn't even a Christian, was more of a Christian than me tonight, and I'm going to work on that. But
you've never been acted in a Christian manner ever. But
go back and it's too bad those videos don't exist anymore, because you could have read the comments. You could have seen how many people wrote that.
This is the thing. Everybody who listens to you thinks that you act like a narcissist, which is scary. It's like the ID channel in a sense. So there's times where like some of us listen to you and we're like, wow, you know, yeah, he could be a good guy, he's a competitive guy. And there's times like right now.
So honestly, if I'm a narcissist, what are you? Please tell me, since you're the the doctor here. If I'm a narcissist, what are you?
How am I a narcissist? You're sitting there and you're practically passing, I don't even want to say judgment, you're labeling me and everybody else as if like you're innocent. Every time anyone comes on with you, you treat them like shit.
Give me an example. Who?
Name one person you've ever done a show with who you could even consider a friend or would ever come back on and talk to you. Name one.
So, well,
every person you've burned a bridge with, and I get that.
That's not true. That's not true.
I don't do everything. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Even people who believe in everything Gematria, Derek. I know all these guys. I watch.
But no,
I listen.
You're not saying I burned a bridge. I mean, the majority of people I've done an interview with, I've never had any problem with. Hold on. The majority of people I've done an interview with.
I don't listen to anybody else and don't watch anyone else. I like to listen to this stuff. I like to listen to people's, stuff with Gematria and things like that.
Hold on, though. You just said something that's false. Almost everybody I've ever done an interview with, I haven't had any problem with them. Some people I've done follow-up interviews with. Some people have just never asked to interview again. That doesn't mean we had a problem. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews. Who have I had a problem with that I've interviewed with?
Name one channel you're on good terms with. One. I mean, at least I can name like 10.
Well, that's the thing. I've always been attacked from the beginning. People who followed me from the beginning.
And you should be on good terms with me because we've messaged each other, at least on a channel all since the freaking Parkland crap. And we've been cool with each other, and we've looked at each other's work, and we've just been like, yeah, this stuff is such bullshit that we don't have time to bicker with each other. And that's a fact, and that's true, even though those videos aren't up anymore, because your channel's down from that, my video's down from that. But we go back and forth in this stuff, so let's not play, let's not stand on ceremony here and pretend like we don't know or haven't communicated since we've had a live show 4 years ago about Pizzagate. Come on, man. You gonna lie about that and say that? I mean, come on. You don't have to like me. I don't like, I mean, it's not that I don't like you. I think you're a funny guy. I laugh.
No, you don't, man. Every remark you've made tonight's been like strategic and not truthful. I just,
strategic. Are you stoned? I mean, your eyes are shut, so don't give me that.
That's just how my eyes always look. It's because my camera's down, so I got long eyelashes. Well,
there's not. I'm telling you right from the bottom of my heart. There's nothing I'm saying that's strategic. What can I say that was strategic? All I did was comment about Cedric Benson as a joke.
But you just make remarks that aren't true. You said I burned every bridge with everybody I've ever communicated with. I mean, that's not true. The person I had a falling out with was Jeff Young, and the reason we had that falling out is because he got mad that he was telling me that he knew that people really died at Vegas. And I said, it's possible, but I said, can you give me some proof? And he couldn't produce proof, and I wanted the proof just because so many people were saying complete hoax, and I was saying I wasn't sure. It was just a weekend we were looking out for. We've been talking about it for a long time. But he got so mad that I would not say that Jeff Young knows that people were really killed and just vouch for his word. And I said, the reason I'm not comfortable doing that, because he wanted me to go out and say that. And I said, the reason I'm not comfortable saying that is because I said, even though, I really appreciate you and that you promoted my work and we've had all these great shows, I said, I just can't do it because I don't know for certain. And I only like to put information out there if I have evidence to support what I'm saying. And for that, he was just done with me. So to me, that I didn't feel that I was so bad for that. I thought I was being reasonable, but he felt like I had damaged his, ego and it was just too much. So
I don't know who he is. I didn't hear that, but I'll.
Well, if you made the comment, I could only assume that's who you were talking about. That's who I used to do a radio show with on Monday night until he.
But I mean, I'm even saying right now. I mean, you can't have a conversation with me without just yelling and debating about stuff. Like it's 3 years ago.
Because I don't want to have a conversation, man. I want to talk about what's real. I don't want to just talk about bullshit. I want to talk about the truth of what you've done.
Let's talk about it. And you asked me questions about my faith and stuff like that. You want to talk about what's going on in Pitts Grove? You want to talk about Ansel? I don't want to give you a strike and ask you questions about that because it's going to give everyone a strike. So,
well, I don't know. I don't know what gets a strike anymore. It's just so random. So
I'm trying to be respectful. I'm trying not to start. I'm not coming here to kiss your ass. I'm not trying to be your buddy. It's all good. I'm just saying, as time continues to move on, you know what? We got more enemies than. Like I said.
So what's your plan? What's your plan?
Friend.
What's your plan for your work? Where are you trying to take your people? What are you trying to help them do each day so we can get ahead of the system?
trying to get people, first of all, over to my website, which I know you're trying to do, which you've tried to do before, which is a good idea, where there's free speech, which God knows how long that's going to last over there. And trying to start people off on the right foot of waking up. You know, it's like I told you, I tried to think of how to put it to you. I tried to think of it for a long time. And it's like, well, people aren't going to jump in, Zach, and just totally understand what you're saying and how you're saying it. But like, you don't have patience with people. And like, I don't have patience in general, but I have patience with, peeling the onion layers back, right? And learning stuff, right? Like, do you not believe in signs and symbols? Do you think it's just gematria? You don't think that any of the signs, the codes, and that stuff?
Of course, all that stuff's important. I've never said that. I said gematria is just a key component that you can use every day. I never
said you didn't. Right. So I try to focus on that kind of stuff because I have a personality where I feel like, people look at it and they laugh and they're just like, oh my gosh, this stuff. I mean, it's so ridiculous how the constant repetition of this stuff, right? The constant patterns, which you see with gematria, right? You see constant patterns with numerology. And at this, there is room for everyone on the playing field, even people listening right now. Isn't the goal to get people listening right now to start their own channels, to start their own websites, and make this awakening happen? This isn't about an alpha male. I don't sit here and go, I'm better than Zachary Hubbard.
You have. You've done that numerous times. You've done that numerous times, actually. So.
I've never said that.
Go back and watch your hour-plus video you made about me and tell me you didn't say that.
I didn't say I was better than you as a human being.
Go back and listen to your video. Go listen to what you said, actually. See, I think part of the reason that you don't remember your video that well, you probably haven't looked at it for 3 years, but you should really go back and see how much false information and hate you spread. See, that's why I've been talking over you.
You burned me, okay? You burned me and I burned you. Just because of that.
I didn't burn you, man. I didn't burn you. I was pretty respectful on your show until the way I signed off.
My family, all that stuff, which I don't want to get into. We talked about.
Okay, actually, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. You said your sister was sacrificed by the satanic occult, and I asked you. I said, well,
really?
if you know,
low you're getting being out there, really, dude.
Yeah, you should talk about this because supposedly you're exposing the satanic cabal, and this is part of your understanding. Why don't you share more about why that happened? So that other people cannot end up in that situation.
It's interesting. I think this is more of a showing of your character. So this is now here to people to see your character, to ask personal questions about people's lives. Can I ask questions about your mother and your girlfriend?
Well, you've thrown it out there. You've thrown it out there that your sister was sacrificed by the satanic occult, but you don't elaborate. You just throw it out there like it's some sort of street cred or something.
Is it any of your business? Anything about my family?
You put it out there. You put out your business. I just asked you to tell us more about it, and you attacked me for that. I asked you a fair question.
And this is why people think that you're Jewish, because you have no consideration for other people's privacy, no consideration for other people's lives.
You're somebody who shared a video showing where I live. You put out my address in an hour-long documentary. Have I ever put out your address? Have I ever put out your address online? You put out my address online. Have I ever put out your address? I don't even know who you are.
I know.
You put out my address, though. Did you ever apologize for that? Show me
where I put your address online.
Dude, go back and watch your documentary. Anybody who watches the hour-long video made about me, saying that I'm a shill that shows me with like the Star David above my head, I forget, whatever. The one that has lots of the farting sound effects, that was made by this gentleman, a video that's been shared 1,000 times. Yeah.
And why would you quote that? Because that was one of the best videos ever created on YouTube. But.
Well, it wasn't the best for helping further this work. It was good for helping, misinform a lot of people about me and what I'm doing here. That's what it was.
And that's what you do about other people. And that's how you attack other people's families and credibility and things like that.
How have I ever done that to anybody? Give me an example of how I've done that to anyone.
And why do you always attack Jesus Christ if you're not Jewish?
I don't attack Jesus Christ. Never have. I've never attacked you or put out your personal information. I asked you a question to elaborate something you said.
I said attacking Jesus Christ.
Here, hold on. You got a caller. You have a caller, somebody that wants to talk to you. Hold on. You have a caller from New York. Caller.
You never attack Muslims. You never attack.
Yeah.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. Did you want to talk to a call for an uprising?
Yes, I would, please.
Can you hear him? Can you hear his message?
Is this Freddie?
No, this is Johnny Stash, pal.
Johnny
I'm on
what?
your call from Uprising.
Johnny what? I can't hear him very well.
Johnny Stash. Yes.
That's a good Italian name. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, let me just say something. In Galatians 4:16, it says, therefore, I tell you the truth, I become your enemy. I relate more to Zach than I do to you, sir. And I consider myself what they call a revolutionary Christian.
Well, I would consider you lukewarm in your walk, and you don't really have a right to question anyone else's faith because you don't know me personally. So you can kiss my ass as far as I'm concerned. But it's a nice staged phone call for you to blow Zach. But really,
this guy called this is so. All right, to be fair, you're right. It's not a staged call, but this is somebody who cares about my work, somebody who's won off my sports information, somebody who contributes to my Patreon page, and somebody who calls in almost every week to my radio show. For over a year's time, I've lost track of time. So he's someone that does care about the work, and he watches your videos too. Here, he wants to talk more.
So great. Give me three baseball bets for tomorrow.
Here, he's still on the phone. He's talking to you.
I'm talking to you, Zach. 3 baseball bets. Give me 3.
Yeah, you must sort of asking Zach. And I'd like to say, sir, Zach is exposed.
Yeah, you're about to be broke, pal, because Zach's not liable for your fucking your obsession with him over gambling bets.
We have no fellowship with the deeds of darkness, but rather expose that.
Yeah, totally, bro. Bro, I'll talk to you on the call me on the fan tomorrow, bro.
I'm blowing Zach, hardly, sir. I'm a grown man of nearly 60 years old. And I've listened to a lot of so-called truth seekers for the last 12 years.
I could care less what you've listened to.
Collaborating with one another, we're fighting. I think it's quite ridiculous and a waste of everybody's time, including mine. Go ahead, sir.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate the call. So anyway, but that's my point right there. He's telling you, and he's giving you a constructive criticism, and he is a real Christian. And I know that's one of the things he probably doesn't like about me, because almost every week that he calls
I can't even hear anything he's saying.
Well,
connecting me with a third line. All I hear is him saying, telling me off is what I heard. So.
Well, you talked over him a lot, so yeah, it was hard to hear everything he said, but we heard enough of what he was saying. And in the beginning, he was saying, as a Christian man, I think Zach is more Christian than you, which is exactly what happened when you did that.
What do you think that? Do you think that affects me at all? I know my.
It should. It honestly should. It should affect you.
Shit. I don't give a shit what it looks like on the surface.
Who's the narcissist?
Because the word shit's not a curse. The word fuck is not a curse. A curse is a curse. You don't believe in witchcraft and sorcery and that stuff, unless, of course, it plays into your sports narrative.
No, that's not true. That's not true at all.
And suddenly Zachary Hubbard goes, oh, the magic was involved from half court, and Kevin Durant made a shot from half court, and it's witchcraft and sorcery. And I told you. Tell me tomorrow. Look at the baseball line right now. Tell me tomorrow. We got Royals.
Well, sign up for the Patreon page. We'll be doing it tomorrow morning. Yeah, sign up for Patreon, man. It'll be there. Promise. So.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
What are the people who lose me, by the way? This is actually.
Well, if people were losing, they wouldn't have been there for over a year. Why don't you listen to today's show? A man called in the beginning. He said, "Thank you so much. I'm so much for you. I'm doing so much better."
I'm gonna make this clear. I didn't call in a fight with you. I called in to have a laugh about the stuff that's going on. You were confrontational. But if you ever question my faith in Jesus Christ, I will.
I do question. I don't think you believe in Jesus Christ in a genuine way. I do question.
Okay. Then from somebody who bashes Jesus Christ.
Where have I bashed Jesus Christ? Where have I bashed Jesus Christ?
Videos I've downloaded of you bashing Christianity.
You've heard me bashing Christianity. Yes, you have. I do not like Christianity.
We're the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet. Christians should be killed.
I never said Christians should be killed. I never said that. I probably have said the dumbest thing though.
I have them all downloaded.
So I've apologized for that. Hey, you said talk about forgiveness earlier. I've apologized for things I've said in videos like that. Many times.
You're a bigger follower now because, look at you laughing. That's funny.
I'm not laughing.
Don't fuck with me, dude.
I'm not laughing. I've apologized for remarks I shouldn't have made. You know, I think both of us do our videos off the cuff. I think both of us, we don't read off planned scripts. Sometimes when you're talking about things, you say things you probably shouldn't say.
It's going to piss me off. I came on here to be civil, and you're a dickhole. You want me to show up? Half of my new subscribers think that you're legitimately a Christian, and I haven't once commented and been like, yeah, look again.
Well, that's fine. You should tell them that I'm not a Christian. I've never pretended to be a Christian. I said I was.
Do you want a secondary video of you talking about being a greenblatt or any of that stuff? Or why don't you just...
So I know exactly when I made that video.
I accept your apology. I'm sorry we got in a heated debate. I'm a man. You're a man. People fight. Do you ever fight with your girlfriend, Zach?
Well, actually, we don't fight very much, honestly. From a young age, I've been conscious about not...
With your mother, your father, your girlfriend, ever in your life?
Well, I fight with my parents a lot, that's for sure, man. But that's what I was going to say, because I grew up in a household where I fight with my parents all the time and they fight with each other. I just knew once I got out of that house, I wanted to not fight, in any personal relationship.
None of us on YouTube would be able to tell that, because all you do is start fights with other people. So
give me an example. Give me an example.
Want to run your channel? If you want to pretend you're the ultimate rebel on here, go ahead. I don't give a rat's ass what you're, what you want to look like on here. If you want to be like Macho Man or
I never act like Macho Man. I never do anything, man. I wear white T-shirts and come out here and speak and show what's going on in the world every single day and teach it in a simple way.
You talk shit about everybody, and then people give you a chance and let you talk stuff, and then you're like, well, why don't you talk about what I talk about? Well, how about I come on here and
how's your research? How's your research helping further the movement?
You just told me that symbols and signs are real. You just said it. No, they're real. So why don't you talk about it? Oh, it doesn't matter, right?
I do. I have a book about it.
You talk about gematria specific.
Have you read my book? Gematria means geometry and language. If you're not aware, all of the symbols are geometry. It's how they're interrelated. I've talked about gematria and my symbolism from the beginning.
Where's your information on hand symbols? What should I do videos and say how you should call all these people out and their hand signs and their hand gestures and triangle power, 666 and every little thing, the black and white tiles. You hate masonry as much as I do, which would make me and you actually friends, because you're the only other people who hates it as much as I do. But you don't say anything about it like I do. So what, should I do a video and be like, why isn't Zachary Hubbard talking about Freemasons and running them out of our town if he wants to start an uprising? Because
isn't that what I do? I'm pretty sure that's what I do almost every day.
So you talk about running Masons out of your town every day?
Yeah.
Because wouldn't that be?
Have you ever had the FBI come to your door? Have you ever had the FBI? Hey, have you ever had the FBI come to your door for a video that you made? Because I did, because it was a video called "A Solution to What Is Going On," and I talked very specifically about what needs to be done. The federal government needs to be taken down while we still have our weapons. The news media needs to be taken down.
Something to say, you're so stupid for seeing that on the internet.
Well, anyway, I was very specific about what needs to be done.
How are you a leader of men if you're going to get caught by people for saying something stupid? We'll have the police sleep to your house.
Well, I don't think it's stupid. I think it's saying what needs to be said.
You're a leader. I think a weak spot.
So listen, the point is, the FBI, when they came to my house, they didn't accuse me of saying what I said in the video. They had to make up a phrase that warranted a reason. And when they came to my house, I laughed and I said, I didn't say that. And they said they had proof I did. But then it turned out they didn't have any proof, which I knew they didn't, because I would never say anything like that. Even though I made 5,000 videos at the time, I knew I never said what they accused me of, and I didn't. But they showed me the video they didn't like.
You're saying in layman's terms.
I have a video on it. I put it up last August. I was visited by the FBI August 21st, 2018. Huh?
How do you feel about the fact that they're considering us all terrorists now?
Well, I just hear in a person like you, I mean, you're just so afraid. You're so afraid of the law. You're not going to do anything that's outside of the custom.
What are you going to do? You're asking for people to send you on a book tour. I'm doing way more than you're doing. I'll tell you that right now, by giving people numerology and then pretending to predict it after the fact. Okay?
So what did I pretend to? Hold on.
I'm showing people agendas beforehand. You're telling people events after the fact. You're going,
that's not true.
Today,
that's what happened last week, August 11th. What happened August 11, 2019? What happened August 11, 2019? Why don't
you show it a day in advance and go here?
I showed it 11 months in advance. I said, remember August 11, 20.
You tell them that day and they go, wow, Zach.
No, the videos are still up from September of 2018. You can go watch it.
I show people repetition. You don't, and your channel actually represents repetition, because you actually just keep doing repetition with no results and nothing ever occurs. So
Really? So again, we're in the 24th straight month of my prediction being right about a celebrity death by the same repetitive number code.
What was your prediction? I got to see the video beforehand. Who did you predict?
So just keep going back. Just keep going back a month at a time. So I said what?
So last month you predicted
right.
Cedric Benson.
No, I didn't say Cedric Benson will die. I said just watch. There'll be a suspicious celebrity death on this specific date, and just look for this same repetitive number pattern. It's the same thing every month.
Now does somebody die every single day? Is Cedric Benson a celebrity? Because
how often does an NFL player die? How often does an NFL player die? Does it happen every day?
It happens probably. NFL player, what? He's not active. He's an NFL player who's way out of. The last NFL related death happened on the last date that I predicted a month in advance, July 18th. Then on that day I said August 17th. There was one last month, so I guess they happen pretty often.
But dead by the exact same numerical pattern every time.
Are we calling Cedric Benson a celebrity? Because if Cedric Benson's a celebrity, then you and me are celebrities.
Cedric Benson was a college football star watched by millions of people, and he played in the NFL for a better part of a decade. So he's someone that'll. And think about how people in our city live vicariously through their stars. How many people are so emotionally attached to sports? They remember Cedric Benson, the highlights, the wins, the fantasy football, all that. There's millions of people that have an emotional response to the news of Cedric Benson dying at the same age I am now. It's like if I died. If somebody my age dies, they missed a huge part of their life ahead of them. That's a tragedy. And
fortunately for you, if you die, I don't think any YouTuber is gonna say anything very kind about you because you're such a dick to everybody.
Well, that might be true, and that's fine if that's part of my legacy, because at least I know, even if I was a dick, I brought something that was revolutionary that actually worried the cabal.
I don't know what you brought. Give me gambling tips for tomorrow for free right now. Tell me, I'll bet them.
So this is why you expose yourself. This is why you had to retire for a month the last time you talked to me.
Just tell me them. Tell me the games. I'll bet them.
Yeah, why would I want to help you? I wouldn't want to help you.
See? Right. So why don't you help yourself? Then you don't have to ask for donations or anything. You could just bet every game, and you don't even have to. You could just do all your videos for free.
I could have kept this knowledge for myself, and I could go live in Las Vegas, and I could do that. I could do that.
I would have.
You know what?
Today if I could.
Literally more than 1,000 people are doing that right now in their life, doing that just with this knowledge. They're not even working. They're gambling and living off it. And I don't want to encourage that. But yeah, because people are following me and they've learned how to win and dominate the system, they are living off this. Thousands of people. So that's the difference. I could have just done it myself. Or I could have shared it so that all these people now benefit. See, that's what Jesus would do. That's why you don't remind me of a Christian at all. You just speak from this selfish point of view, this ignorant point of view. You speak without knowledge. You lie.
You're such a dude.
I'm an honest person. I'm not someone who hides my face and my name and talks shit and starts fights and then act. See, you're like the little kid who starts a fight, and then when they get their ass kicked, they cry to the teacher and blame it on the person who kicked their ass. That's who you were growing up. You were the kids. You were the kid who I used to kick their ass and end up in the principal's office. That's who you are.
I'm twice your size.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, big tough man. Here, then put yourself on the screen. Put yourself on the screen. Let's see it. Come on, Cage Fighter. Come on, Street Fighter. Let's see it.
Look at you. You're so triggered.
Because you're a punk, man. Yeah, and you're a troll. Yeah, you're a troll. Trust me, it'd be like grade school all over again. I'll tell you what, I grew up around older kids. My sister's over 10 years older than me. I grew up around older men. That's why I was a lot tougher growing up. And I kicked a lot of kids' ass who were bigger than me. Physically, basketball court, sports. That's why I just listened to you in your video. Dude, put yourself on the screen and let's see what a big man you are.
Listen to my videos in 2 years. There you just caught yourself in a lie.
I still remember what you said. I don't forget. I have a good memory. You might know that about me. I have a good memory.
You said, I just listened to your video. And you're talking about kicking somebody.
I didn't say I just listened to it. I'm telling you to go back and listen to your video.
Zach, I know you listen to all my videos. That's really cute. I appreciate it. I'll always consider you a good friend of mine. I got bigger. Listen, we both have bigger enemies to deal with.
What's funny is I honestly have not watched a video of yours since that McDonald's, hate-filled rant you had about McDonald's mocking Jesus, and that video was probably in the wintertime. I remember being cold outside. So I literally haven't watched your channel in at least 6 months. But it doesn't matter. It's beside the point. I'm just being honest. There's not a single thing that I've said talking to you that wasn't honest. You've made a lot of dishonest remarks and slide remarks.
when you're high as a kite, I guess everything is honesty to you.
So what have I said that's dishonest?
Oh, everything. You don't want. Nobody has anything to offer except for you.
I never said that. I never said that.
Oh, who are the ones? Oh, let's
check this out. Check this out. Look at this right here. You see this real quick? Do you see this? I want to change topics for a minute. Do you see this movie posters that's shown up on the screen? Murder by Numbers. If this is showing up, you can see how the E's a 3, the B's an 8. Somebody who follows my work sent me this poster because they came across this knowledge and then they started to see what was really going on in the world. The word murder equals 38 and 83. Do you think it's a coincidence that the only letters changed in that are 8 and 3 when murder equals 38 and 83? The song Murder by Numbers came out in 83. The name at the top of this movie poster is Sandra Bullock. She's the star. They even have her name up here. Sandra Bullock sums to 83. Now, a call for an uprising. I've been showing for years how this people are murdered by this same repetitive code, by the satanic occult, which you call them. Hold on. Why do you not share this knowledge and you continue to dismiss it and just act like it's not a big deal and it's just another thing out there? Is that really what this work is? See, and then you're dismissing that
By the way, what does that resolve? What is that showing in?
Helping people understand the New World Order agenda 11 months in advance. Listen, in September, in September of 2018, I put out a video that there would be an event at Temple Mount, August 11th, 2019. And on that day, one of the most important Muslim holy days, at the third most important Muslim holy site, you had Israeli police firing tear gas on people who were praying. Okay, that's a big deal. That's a major religious holiday, a major religious site. The headlines right away is that, jihad is being, sworn against the West for this. I showed a year in advance how they had that date foreshadowed on September 11th, which was a major false flag to bring hatred and division into the world. And how ever since then they've operated by this code, staging terrorist attacks and provoking the people of the world. And I said in September, just watch August 11th, 2019, Temple Mount. And that's exactly what it was, plus a whole lot more in that day. And again,
I must have missed that.
Yeah, well, you must have.
I'm subbed to you. I'm subbed to your channel. I didn't see that.
Well, it's still all up there, so you could go check what you missed out that I talked about all year long.
Can I ask you? I want to ask you one question though. As somebody who, I want to learn, right? So how come you can use Gematria, but you use like 70 different variations?
I don't.
Not just one?
I don't. For the first 3 years, I primarily used two ciphers. Now I primarily use
one version, because how many versions of Gematria are there? There's like what, 70?
So it's for reasons like
the Gematria out there. I've watched Derek. I've watched you. I've watched all these guys. I'm not saying one guy's better than the other. I'm not promoting anyone. None of you like me. I don't like you. Why can you use 80 different variations and then say, well, Sandra?
So again, we're not using that many variations. We're not using that many variations.
87 Hispanic Gematria.
But that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. We're using a very simple using a very simple system based on the alphabetic order and the rules of numerology. Very simple.
How many variations of Gematria are there? Can you just answer that? How many are there?
Well, Faith Giovanni wrote a book about it decades ago, 60s or 70s, and she said that there's over 100 ciphers in use within secret societies just in the United States. So that means there are a lot of ciphers out there. But
how many do you?
What's that?
In your book. How many in your book do you believe in?
So here, just to make a point. When I first began this research,
I'm just asking.
When I first began this research, I knew about 2 ciphers, and those were primarily the ones I taught. And I took the time to write out all 50 United States to see if there was any type of pattern, because I did research at the beginning to make sure that this was actually a system that seemed to be purposefully manipulated and used ritualistically. And I noticed out of the 50 states, if you wrote them all out and just added it up with the alphabetic order, A's 1, B's 2, C's 3, D's 4, so on, I noticed that only one state summed to 74. And from doing my decoding, I just noticed that that was a very special number that came up a lot. And anyway, so 1 out of 50 states sums to 74. Now, using the alphabetic order, English is 74, Gematria is 74, Masonic 74, occult 74, Jewish is 74. This knowledge is described as being occult, and used in Jewish mysticism Kabbalah. So all of that fits together nicely. And then I noticed a pattern just early on, just decoding things. Because when I first started, I did everything by hand and just put it in a journal and wrote it down and shared some of it on social media, on Facebook, where everyone made fun of me. But one day, even on Facebook, I asked, do you guys think this is a coincidence? And I just showed out Jesus, Messiah, cross, gospel, parables. They all sum to 74. And so did even Lucifer, which is interesting because in the King James Bible, Lucifer and Jesus are both, they're both referred to as the morning star. So they have this parallel. Just using the alphabetic order, like I already explained. You got to be a good listener. I said, just using the alphabetic order, just using one cipher. And I thought, how interesting that out of the 50 states, the only one that sums to 74 is the 33rd state. Because this was my infancy of starting this. I was like, that reminds me of Jesus and on the cross at 33. And I was like, that's really interesting. And again, so that shows you that not every word sums to 74. Only one out of the 50 states sums to 74. It happens to be the 33rd state. Very special number to the Masons. And again, holiday equals 74. Think about this nation's birthday, 7/4, July 4th. If you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, which is the other cipher I taught alongside when I first began, because I learned about it in the book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. But if you write out Independence Day with the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, it sums to 74. That seems like a mathematical improbability. When we learn to look at the cipher in reverse, making Z1 counting back to A is 26, and when you use that cipher with the rules of numerology, I noticed that Jesus Christ summed to 74. And that was one of the first things that made me go, wow, could that be a coincidence, or is reverse part of this code? Then I started to learn how many synchronicities there were between running the alphabetic order in reverse with forward. And I could have never appreciated those things or known if it was coincidental unless I had studied for 3 years just using those first two ciphers. Now think about this. You probably have Netflix. There's a hit show about the family, this powerful Christian fraternity that's obviously Masonic because they keep showing the checkerboard floor. And what they all believe in is Jesus. They don't care about anything in the Bible except for the red line verses where Jesus spoke. That's all they read. And they're powerful young people destined for big places in politics, Wall Street, and they're part of this secretive Jesus organization. And they say the leader of that organization, where do they say he's from? They say he's from Oregon, Doug Coe. Doug Coe from Oregon, the big man with the DC initials in DC, and Jesus Christ with the alphabetic order and rules numerology is 43, like Masonic.
Right. So my question is, do all of those fall into the same variation, the same code of gematria?
Yeah, just using the alphabetic order. It's called simple English gematria. If you write out the word simple, it sums to 74. English 74, gematria 74.
Is that the reason that you don't believe in Christ based off of?
And I've never said that I don't believe in Christ. In fact, in my book, I talk about a really interesting thing that happened to me. So I was in this small town in Washington, in the sunny part of Washington. They call it the Sun Valley of Washington State, this town. And I was paying for gas. And I was going to put in, I think I had $20. I was going to put $20 in the tank. I probably had 50 miles left in the tank. I just wanted to get the 20 in, so I had enough to get to my destination. And I didn't need 20. I knew that because where I had to go was about 100 miles, and my car gets like 40-some miles a gallon. So anyway, I knew that if I put in $10, it'd be enough too. Anyway, in front of me was this old man. And he was asking if he could use his essentially welfare card to get some hot food at the gas station. And the woman was rude and just like, no, you need to get out of here. And he just started to move the line. And I said, hold on, sir. I said, wait a second. I said, let me break this bill. I said, I'll give you $10 and you can get some hot food. And when I did that, he said to the clerk, he didn't even say it looking at me. He said that Jesus Christ is always looking out. He said, see, Jesus Christ is always looking out, or something to that effect. And I happened to look at my cell phone, and I saw that the time was 1:51, right as that whole thing happened. Right when I checked the time afterwards, because I had to pick up my girl at 2 at the time. We were going for education to look at a school to see if she was into it. So this is what the trip was about. And I had to pick her up at 2, so I was checking the time, and I just noticed 1:51, and I said, man, that's so weird, because Jesus Christ with the alphabetic order is 1:51. And I even I wrote a blog post about it. I made a video about that. And
one of your subscribers just wrote Jesus died at 33. Are they not understanding that that's the reason behind the numerology of 33 with Freemasonry and the sacrifice of Jesus Christ?
Well, I think the 33 has more to do with Kundalini and the 33 bones that make up the vertebrae. But what do you think about this interpretation? Does this make you mad, me saying this? Because I've come to believe in my years of being a free thinker and not, within the confines of the thoughts of the church, I've come to think that, Jesus, the spiritual teachings about, the body's the temple, God is within. Have you ever thought that, religion, it teaches you to put so much power outside instead of focusing more on the inside and finding strength within and the power to help other people and do what's right within? Because that's kind of actually where I've even gone in my non-religious years, Well,
I mean, I think people who follow Christ don't necessarily believe in religion from the religious aspect and say, well, I got to go to church Sunday morning, got to go do this, I got to show face, I got to be this or that. I think most people who are followers of Christ do generally care. Now, someone like you, obviously, you'll point a finger at me and you'll be like, well, this guy's a real asshole, and this guy's a this or this guy's a that. But nobody knows what you do in your own spare time. Nobody knows. Just like I don't know what you do.
I think most people know I don't have a lot of spare time. I think a lot of people, my followers, know I don't have a lot of spare time. They know that I'm...
It doesn't matter about spare time, about what's in your heart, right?
Well,
and what you care about. Like if I saw
what's in your heart? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it then, since you're going to bring it up. What's in your heart? I'll let you go first. What's in your heart? Why do you do this? What have you done in the world to bring, something positive into it? Tell me, and then I'll tell you what I've done.
Well, this isn't a competition. You're aware of that, right?
No, but that's what I want to hear, because when you make these remarks... But you're
saying it like it's a competition. What have I done?
You've already made remarks earlier in this conversation. You made a remark earlier saying that I haven't really done anything besides talk like number gibberish in the world, and I didn't follow up with that.
I never said that. I said you're an ass.
Well,
I didn't say that. You
go back and listen later. Go back and listen later.
Spare time. It's like you don't know what I do in mine.
Okay.
What I hope that I've done is I hope that I've led people to pick up a Bible and find Christ, something that you don't agree with.
So what's finding Christ to you? How does finding Christ help you out? Because every day, I hear you talking about, like, let's make war for Christ, essentially, like you're a crusader.
Well, do you think that Christ is here to bring peace or bring a sword?
So I think I've always thought that's a very interesting Bible passage, and what people have always told me is it was a mistranslation, and it really meant he meant to bring the word. And I thought,
yeah.
Well, why didn't they write word then? Because they used the word in the Bible. So
because the word now is the sword. Because of what's happening in Christianity, are you going to sit here and tell me that you don't see Christianity getting X'd out, whether you like it or not? You don't see Christianity, followers of Christ, being the ones who are oppressed of all the religions in America. You're aware. You see it.
Well, so not worldwide, but in America, they're just doing everything they can to create hate and division.
What's the most mocked religion? What's the most mocked faith? Who's the most mocked
Islam easily. Islam easily.
Islam? Where? Where is? Tell me a TV show or a news station that mocks Islam.
Well, what's the big news story today? That a Muslim group blew up another Muslim group by the same repetitive numbers in Afghanistan. You think that's a real story, that Muslims blew up other Muslims? Was there any story today in the world about, because it happens all the time in Islam, is there any story today about a Christian gathering where 300 people were injured or died?
Me and you being the enemy of the state, so. But they don't even talk about that anymore.
I agree. Listen, I'm just saying Islam is the most demonized religion in the world, easily.
I'm talking about in America. What's the only religion you can mock?
Everyone's demonized in America except for the chosen ones, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, of course I know what you're saying, but Jesus Christ is mocked more than anyone else, and that's a fact. So you don't have to agree with it, but I've seen it. I've covered it. I try to show the repetition of it, and if you don't believe it, it's fine.
Jesus Christ is one of the most promoted ideas in America at the same time, but that is changing. It's changing, and I'll just say this: I don't know if it's for the better, because I do think some people do need religion, and it's probably good that I got religion in some ways as a young person. Well, I mean, my dad always taught me right and wrong too, and he wasn't religious. He was the biggest, he was the biggest enforcer of the golden rule and reminder of it. But
how do you feel about the inversion of stuff? Just you take the Bible out of it, okay? And I'm just going to take out the fact that you don't think I believe in Christ and stuff, which is an insult to me. But you know what? You can believe whatever you want. I know in my heart how I feel, and if that's one of the most vicious things that you could say to me that pisses me off the most, then
okay.
yeah,
well, here,
good.
let me
I'd rather
explain
make
to
fun
you.
of my
Let me
channel
explain
and
to
make
you.
fun of my content.
So
Then
here-
say stuff about
here's
that,
my
say that
concern.
because I don't
Here's
fit
my
into the
concern.
stereotype. I don't fit into the stereotype of being a cookie cutter in a sweater who's sitting here going, "Oh, look at them make fun of Jesus," and then let me bend over and take it up my ass.
But here's the thing: the cabal wants people to be divided over religion and race and sexuality and political
Christ
party.
isn't a religion. He's a king. That's the thing. They've turned
No, you speak for Christianity, though. You
into
don't. You speak for
Christ
Christianity,
into a
so you
religion.
promote religion.
And who's the enemy of the cabal? Who does the cabal focus against? What does the Talmud talk about?
Humanity,
Jesus burning
the
in
world,
feces. What is the
everything.
Zohar? You've read all of them, right? We both read them all. All the stuff about Jesus and how much they despise him. They despise him. They detest him. Doesn't that once made you say to yourself, why do these people hate him so much?
Well, there's always been hatred over religion. You express that every day on your channel.
Yeah, but in their teachings, if you expose bagels and you talk about them and you claim that you're not one and you don't believe, and why is it that Jesus is always talked about in their teaching specifically as a target?
Well, there's a passage
Right.
in the Talmud about boiling him in excrement. That's often what's
There's many sayings in the Talmud about boiling and excrement, about the Bible must be burned and destroyed, how Christians need to die. You know, when they talk about goyim, they're not talking about you. They're talking about us. If you're not a Christian, it's about us. We're the goyim.
right. And
they wouldn't look at you as goyim. They would look at you and say,
but they
well, maybe
have,
we can recruit you.
They
Maybe
have
you
a
come work for
superiority
us.
complex. They believe they're better than everyone. So Christianity is just
Right.
one of the many things that falls under that umbrella of hatred and superiority.
Do they mention any other faith belief, though, in their books?
Well, so that's, you have to rely on the translations because there's no translation of the Talmud. So I don't know everything that's in that book. Hardly anyone does.
Right, but they don't talk about Muslims. They don't talk about Buddhists.
Are you sure about that?
You know,
Are you sure about that? I don't think that's true.
not from what I've read, but why? What do they say?
Well, that's my point. And most of us haven't read enough. See, I don't make statements that I can't back up. That's why I never got into flat Earth.
No, I've read it in full. I've never seen anything in there about Muslims. So I was asking, have you read something in there about it? Maybe I'm misspeaking, but I've never seen a word in there about anyone being. There's no, because at that time period, obviously when it was written, that was Moses. They claimed it was Moses' oral law. So at that time period, obviously it was before Muslim, that belief was created, all Buddhism and anything else was created, but there's definitely nothing in there about it. I'll take you to that one. I'll take you to the bank on that one. To be honest, I'll bet you on that one.
Well, that's not a smart bet because you don't have enough information. You could lose your whole house.
See,
I teach people not to be foolish. For all the people who think I promote gambling, I teach people to money management and to be smart about things and to be conservative. And
I'll bet you $1. I'll bet you $1.
What's the point, man? You should do some more research and come back. Do a good informed video on it. Less opinion, more fact.
You just told me that there was speak of Muslim in it, and there's not. There's definitely not. So
what I just said is I said I can't say that Christianity is the only thing that's spoken against it in the Talmud. And you have to think about what time it was written at. Islam's the newest of the religions. Islam's the newest of the religions.
The only thing spoken against is Jesus Christ.
So
everything in the Talmud and the Zohar is against Jesus Christ. And if you speak and you do your Gematria lessons on speaking against the fake Jews in Vagelville, then how come you don't say, well, why is he a target? Why are they always talking about him? Why are they always saying how everything that Christ says has to be destroyed?
Where's that at? I'm not hearing. Where's this going on at? Tell me, because I pay attention to mainstream programming, and I don't see what you're actually talking about right now.
About what? Jesus in the Talmud?
Where Jesus is always being attacked in the mainstream.
How about every TV show that makes us all look like we're wearing sweaters and That's the reason that people like you do videos and you say, I don't sound like a Christian, because I'm not sitting here saying, Zachary Hubbard's a great guy. You should listen to him, even though he tells everyone that Christians are a cancer to society and they're the worst people ever. Instead, I sit here and I go, fuck you, Zach Hubbard, and fuck your followers, and fuck anyone who sits here and bashes the King of Kings. Oh, I'm sorry.
But I didn't say that about Jesus. I'm talking about Christians. Just like you've seen the bumper stickers, Jesus save me from your followers, you know. So if I had a bumper sticker on my YouTube channel, that's what it would say.
Raping women, killing non-Jews, enslaving non-Jews, all this stuff which falls into your lap as well as mine, because whether you're Christian or not, it falls into all our laps. So we have a common enemy. So the question is, why do you always go after people like me and Christians? Because we don't talk about the things that you talk about. Wouldn't you want?
Oh, okay. Because here's exactly why. Here's exactly why.
Party of this movement and be like, here's Zach Hubbard.
No. Let me set the record straight, man. Listen,
come on, man.
I did not respond to a single attack on me until like the 50th video was made attacking me. And it was finally Russian Vids was the first person I responded to, because I just wanted to stay focused on my work. But it was just getting old. All these people making videos about me. And why did it happen? Because it all started with somebody leaving a comment, hey, Zach, are you a Christian? And I said, no, I'm not religious. I was raised Lutheran. I grew up believing the golden rule. And then just from that, then it spread like, oh, he's not a Christian. And the next thing I know, people are making videos about me. Zach, another false, shill on YouTube denying Christianity. And then videos like that are getting shared. Just like, okay, seriously, because I give an honest response and because I'm not part of your religion, now you're going to make a video saying I'm a shill. And then that's when I realized just how Christian YouTube was, because just so many people are all of a sudden leaving a comment like, oh, I can't follow you because you're not Christian. That's
necessarily true. I get your subs crap on me all the time. I mean, I just know how to deal with it better than you.
Well, not everybody's Christian, but I'd still say a huge percentage is. Look at all the big channels. Richie from Boston, another guy who pretends to be a Christian. So many channels that pretend to be what they aren't, including Richie from Boston. They do it because they know that's where the market is. I never pretended to be anything.
Well, I'm not sitting here pretending to be anything, so.
So what makes you a Christian then, besides just believing in Jesus Christ? Because that's what I heard you say before. You believe that, he died on the cross for our salvation. That's your thing.
That's right.
So how is that helping?
The way, the truth, and the life.
How is that helping you? How is that helping the world?
How is what you're doing helping you? I mean, how can you ask a question? What do you?
Well, a lot of people thank me for what I've done.
A
lot of people thank me for what I've done. They appreciate this knowledge and it helps them escape the matrix. I just met with a husband and wife, and the husband said, this is the first NFL season where I'm not all anxious and I realize it's just all scripted and now I can free up my Sunday. And the wife was saying, yeah, we'll see about that. I'm watching to see if that's true. But and countless people have told me that. So yeah, this knowledge has helped free people from the matrix. This knowledge has helped free people from the matrix. And to me, part of that matrix is religion.
More important. Right.
To me,
so you freed somebody from NFL Sunday.
Not just one person, a lot of people.
Way more important than freeing them from hell. And yeah.
Okay, that's a story I have from 2 days ago from meeting somebody in person. Have you ever met any of your followers in person?
What does that matter, Hubbard? What does that matter?
Okay,
what do you think?
Because I asked you a question earlier. You said that I'm not doing anything in the world. So here, let me say. Listen, I'm going to tell you something you can really bash me for. I think this is the worst thing about me that I ever did. I feel like if I go to hell, it'll be for doing this. When I got out of college, I knew what was right and wrong. But, being broke, being out of school, I had an in real estate. And I took an opportunity and I stuck with it after a month when I realized it was morally bankrupt because I realized it was going to pay well. And from that first month on, I just started the mental wrestling of, should I be doing this? Essentially what I was doing is, it was the mid-2000s. It was before the housing market fell out. I was hired by an appraisal firm. In record time, they just threw me out on my own, and they realized I was a production machine. So I was helping them get through a lot of refinance deals that were truly fraudulent. And realize it wasn't just me. The whole real estate industry was this way, but I contributed to it. We would essentially falsify reports, but make them look legitimate, to get it so people could refinance, because everyone was having to do this to keep up with their ARM mortgages, where if you didn't refi, you went into this crazy payment period until you just couldn't afford your house anymore. And that's why so many people lost their house, because they refied, the rate got to a crazy rate once it got to a certain X amount of months from now, and then they could not afford their house. They were homeless. They were living in a hotel, back to the apartment, bad shape, bankruptcy. This happened to so many people, and it was because of people like myself who helped kick the can down the road, and we all did it because of greed, because it paid so well. So I did this from June, when was it? June, July, 2015, somewhere around there. The summer after I got out of school, I graduated May of 2000. Oh, no, I'm way off on my years. Hold on, I'm getting too old. May of 2005. So May of 2005, I graduated. So I started doing this the summer of 2005, and I did it until I just quit. I needed to quit so long. Just one day I just quit cold turkey because my boss just wanted me to falsify the worst report ever. And I already saw the wheels coming off the bus. And I was just like, no. I said, we just got to stop. We're going to lose everything. This is insanity. And he really wanted to, I don't even want to explain it to you, but I just knew that was it. I just can't do this anymore. This is the worst thing you've ever asked me to do. I'm not going to do it. And anyway, so I quit, and I was like, I need to save my soul. I've gotten paid really well now for a year and a half. I did this for a year and a half after knowing I should quit for a month. I said, I got to save my soul. I know what's going on in the world, and I've just been doing the most corrupt job for a good wage. I said, I'm going to do something different. And everyone thought I was insane because I quit this well-paying job, and I went and worked at a group home for $10 an hour, helping disadvantaged youth. And then I started working at a teen homeless shelter, and I was making $10 an hour, and I was coming home with scratch and bite marks because for anyone who knows what a group home's like, there's several children crammed in a tight space with severe behavioral problems. They can't be in foster home because they attack people, they hurt the other kids, they kill the animals, they set the house on fire. And, but doing this work, I felt so much better about myself. I said, you know what? I'm in a place where children need a good person. And every day I just try to put a smile on their face and do something nice for them. Because a lot of staff there, they were doing that job because it was the only job they could get. And they probably didn't want to be there, because it's just a gruesome job. But I was there because I was like, I'm going to do something to redeem myself. And I went back to school, and then I got my master's in teaching so I could teach. And I chose to teach in the poorest neighborhood in Seattle where no one else wanted to teach because I wanted to help that community. Again, I was like on a soul-saving mission. And when I realized that the education system is just too bankrupt and I can't really help it out, and it's not what it should be. Part of me wants to be still doing that because I like working with kids, but I was like, I have to do something. And I just realized it was getting bad at that moment. Like all the things I've been looking at, the false flags, the shootings, the scares, the crackdown on all the censorship. I just saw how bad it was in 2012. That was the last year I taught. And after that, I've been working at this, I started a business after I got out of the school thing, actually. And while I was doing that, that's when I started the medical delivery service. And around that same time, I got into this research, but I never left the path of wanting to do something to serve others. And I saw the medical business as a good opportunity and a good way to help people, which it was. If you got old granny on your medical supply and she doesn't have any money and she wants to know if you can front her, who's making fronts in the MMJ business? Nobody. But I did things like that because it was just an opportunity to help people. And that's the same thing that's inspired me to do this work every day and put out this knowledge and work with, I don't know if you've realized, but I've worked like literally every day since I started doing this. And you took a month off. I wish I'd taken a month off, honestly. But so what have you done? What's come out of your heart to help the world? Because you questioned me earlier. So what have you done?
I didn't question you at all. I questioned what you said about Christianity. I didn't question if you've put in work. I didn't question anything else. I never.
Hey, watch this interview later. Watch this interview later. Watch our discussion later.
Don't you think at some period you got to just grow up and just let some of this stuff go and just be like, oh, okay.
What have you done? Don't talk about me. Don't deflect. What have you done? Be honest. You don't give honest responses. You deflect and alter the point.
I don't know. What you just told me that you talked to a couple the other day, right? And they said that you helped them. You said what'd you say? Should the guy isn't watching football anymore because you told them, right? Well, every day I get many messages from people who told me that I've helped them pick up the Bible again. So that's all that I care about. So all you care about is what you care about, and what I care about is what I care about.
So you think, okay, so if you, let's just say, okay, so picking up the Bible, You believe that's going to help them save their soul and then get the passion to fight everybody who's not Christian? Is that your ultimate belief?
My ultimate hope is that they pick up the Bible and they find salvation through Christ, the King of Kings. And my ultimate goal is that you do too. And you could fight me and hate me too.
How's that going to help end the cabal that you complain about every day?
It's going to give you eternal salvation. It's going to win the war before the war's already fought, actually. But
what's eternal salvation look like? If I listen to your channel, it sounds like it's anger, hostility, aggression, fight everybody who doesn't believe in Christ. Is that the salvation?
Well, you said you don't listen to my channel, so that's not really a fair assessment.
I said I haven't listened to you for about 6 months, but I've probably seen 10 of your videos, honestly, to be perfectly honest, including the one you made about me. And I realized that you have a very pointed message. I completely understand where you're going, but I realize there's not a lot of support.
That's not really fair either, because in the last 6 months, I've done like 10 live streams, and in every one of them, I've told people to support your channel. Because I believe that you still have a right to free speech, and I've seen the shit that's happened to your channel. So I'm not asking you to kiss my ass or anything like that, but I would expect the fact that you would at least be appreciative that someone like me could at least go, hey, you could say all the shit you want over on your channel, you could spit on me, but you still have a right to say whatever.
Well, I didn't realize you've been doing that, so thank you, and I do appreciate that, because that means then you've done something positive for the community as well. But I got to admit, I haven't seen anybody come over and say, hey, I'm here because of a call for an uprising, and usually people leave a message like that. I'm here because this channel recommended it. I've never seen that message left for anybody from your channel.
You, and I've constantly said that whether it's you or it's whoever it is, whatever channel, whatever belief, Christian or non-Christian, the target is us. The enemy of my enemy, an enemy. What is it called? Now I forgot. Enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Or a friend. Enemy of my enemy is my friend. Is that how it goes? Now I'm forgetting it, but we're on the same page. I mean, we have the same people targeting us. So, it's just a matter of how long do you want to target each other and do this stuff. It was fun for a while, but now literally we're seeing, hostility, and attacks on us. And I see all the crap your subs say about me. I'm reading the chat, and that's okay. I don't mind that. You don't got to listen to me, man. It doesn't bother me. Any of the subs out there that follow Zach, I'm not saying he doesn't he gives crap information, and I'm not saying I'm better than him. I'm not saying anything. Simple fact is that free speech should be allowed for all of us. And if we suddenly just go, well, because I don't agree with stuff you used to say at least about Christianity. And obviously, I don't agree with what you say about me, but like you could do a video tomorrow and say I'm a fat. You can say whatever you want.
So here,
I'm gonna come over
again, to make a point, the only reason I ever went after Christianity is because I was attacked by so many Christians just because I didn't believe the same as them, which is exactly what's wrong with the world. So when I ranted in those things, which I've already apologized for multiple times in the past, I did say it in ways that I shouldn't have said, and it wasn't fair to all Christians, and I've already talked about that many times. But the point is, it all began because I was attacked by this group of people just because I didn't believe the same as them. The word was lie in the middle.
Zach, you're not always the one that's under attack first. Remember, because with the whole Pizzagate stuff,
I've never attacked anyone on YouTube who didn't say something about me first. Promise that.
Yeah, but you undermined it, slapped me in
the
face.
Hey,
oh, you did.
Listen,
and
I've really appreciated.
Listen, I overreact. I overreacted.
Listen, okay? I really appreciate that you came on here and explained yourself the best of your ability. Listen, it's the same thing last time we had a conversation. My lady signaled me 2 times. I know in my house not to have a 3rd time. She really wants me to get off because she needs to read because it's her first day of school tomorrow. But
all right.
So anyway, I do appreciate that you shared my channel on your channel, and I look forward to the day you do your first Gematria video. And
listen, let me say one thing before I go. Thank you for having me on. I have no problem with us going back and forth. The only thing that really pissed me off is you saying I'm a Christian, but you're allowed to believe that because I believe in free speech. And maybe you can come on and on my channel, and you can talk about your book, and you can talk about the stuff you're trying to support. I have no problem with that. I won't come on there and assault you. My subscribers won't either, even though I'm getting murdered in your comment section, which is good because you have loyal subscribers, which is what you deserve. You've done a lot of work. I didn't say you haven't, but you got to calm down a little bit. Take it down 1 notch. I mean, come on. You're acting like Daniel Jones.
If anyone's louder on here than me, it's you. So, I mean,
All right. Well, seriously, if you know, maybe we'll do a podcast, or you can come on my channel to talk about the stuff you're working on. At the end of the day, we don't have to be friends. We can disagree on certain topics, but at the end of the day, I mean, we all know about the cabal. We all know about these scumbags who are controlling everything. And this isn't about who's better than who and who's cooler than who and who's more popular than who. It's about, you know, us trying to keep our right to freedom and right to free speech. Because once that's down, it's like me and you might bump into each other in the middle of the street and be like, all right, this is fucking bullshit. I feel like we should have went after each other and wasted our breath for so long. And now we got to, you know, muscle up. But right now we still have the chance to at least, you know, we don't have to, you know, get ourselves to subscribe to one another, but it's just a matter of just passing knowledge along. You know, if people don't want to believe in Gematria, maybe they want to start to believe. Maybe they're brand new to it, you know, and they go over and they listen to you at your level where you're just saying, hey newbies, let me tell you a little bit about it.
Okay, before I go, I just got to ask one more question. Is it a coincidence that just using the alphabetic order, Jesus, Messiah, Gospel, Parables, Cross, all sum to 74, like Masonic, like occult, like English, like Gematria? Just using the alphabetic order, all those things. Coincidence?
Is it a coincidence that all those equal what?
74. They all equal 74.
I guess so. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer it, man. But if that's your way of saying that Jesus Christ isn't the King of Kings, then, you know, we're on a different page. But
I want you to think about this, though. Then think about this piece. So here's what I want you to reflect on. King James Bible, the Masonic one. King James was a Mason and a Rosicrucian. And by the way, Freemasonry, Rosicrucian, secret society.
You should reflect on how many people listen to your channel that you lead away from Christ, because that's a sin in its own right. And that's gonna cost you.
Well, I've never tried to lead anybody away from their religion. And when people call in and tell me that, I always say, well, you shouldn't change your religion because of me. I mean, if what I said made you think.
You do. Yes, you do. And you shouldn't do that. And you do that.
No, I don't do that.
Just flew up the.
No, countless times on my radio show over the years, I've gotten that type of call, and I've always responded the same way. It doesn't make me feel good to hear that.
You don't believe. You might be the smartest guy on the planet. You might have figured all this shit out with Gematria. I'm not saying you have or haven't, but don't you dare lead people away from Christ and salvation.
Well, that's never been my goal. That's never been my goal.
Because Jesus Christ and his name in certain Gematria equals the name of a cup or.
Listen, that's never been my goal. That's never been my goal. I've always told people I was raised Lutheran. I believe in the teachings of Jesus. I've always tried to live by him. That's what I've always said from the beginning. I've answered that question countless times. I've said I'm not religious, but that's still. You know, those teachings, I took what was good from religion. And, you know, if you knew me in person, I'm not the same personality that I am online as when I'm in person. I'm not as confrontational. I'm not as quick to, you know, call somebody an effing retard, if you will. Part of what I've realized is that you have to speak. Part of what I've realized is you have to speak and be loud and say things that are controversial to even get people to watch. Because it's anytime I do a video with it's an angry rant, it gets way more views than the other ones. But that's why you do that. You know that. But the point is.
No, it's not.
What's that?
Not. You think that's why I do? Are you kidding me? You want to see my blood pressure? You'd be on the floor laughing.
Well,
we're the
okay.
Same age. You'd be like, are you kidding me, dude? Your blood pressure's this high? Yeah, that's how worked up I get. And you'd be like, you get worked up over bullshit.
Okay.
Like, yeah, maybe you're right.
Then you're right.
My family's like, you get worked up over nothing. And I'm like, it's not nothing to me. Caring about people's souls, caring about Jesus Christ.
Well, that's why people like you, because you're worked up and emotional, and people do like that. And I'm definitely that way, but I try to not be that way all the time.
It's an act. It makes it an act, right? Because like you said before, I'm an act.
Well, I got to get off. I'm about to get my third warning, but you really should think about putting your, what'd you say, beautiful face out in the world. It would be nice to know who a call for an uprising is.
I'd be afraid you show up at my front door trying to have sex with me. I don't want that happening now, Zach. Come on.
Have I done that to any other YouTubers that put their face out there?
You can't take a joke. Come on. I'm just joking with you. Calm down.
But I mean, again, you're deflecting because we'd all like to see your face. We'd all like to know who a call for an uprising is.
Well, tough shit. It's on my call. I control that, and I like to control it. So I don't want fame. I don't want fortune like you. I don't want to.
I don't want those things either, man. I'm trying to change the world, man. Like I said, before I got into this.
Everybody listens to you and knows that you want to be famous. It's very clear. That you
how's that clear?
Where's that clear? Known as the fest.
Do you want to know something? I got an opportunity. I got a personal.
We're all fucking stupid.
Listen.
You know?
Listen, I don't want to be famous. If I wanted to be famous, I'd probably be TV hungry. I've had one opportunity to go in my life. one opportunity in my life to go on TV, and it was because a car crashed through my house. I got a letter from Judge Judy within like 48 hours of that happening, from Judge Judy inviting me to go down there and go in her court over the incident. And I turned that down. I did not want to go on Judge Judy. And to me, it all seemed really weird because the whole thing felt like a ritual.
I must have bought my 500,000 subs because nobody's ever asked me to go on anywhere. And you're actually one of the only people that's let me actually come on their live show. So I appreciate that. And I thank you for it. And I like the fact that most of your subs are shitting on me because they're entitled to do that. And hey, listen.
All right, man. Well, I do appreciate it, and I will give you the benefit of the doubt. So thank you.
Most of the stuff's water under the bridge, but you take care of yourself, all right? And if you want to come on, on my channel or into that fight with me and bicker and go back and forth, feel free, man. That stuff doesn't bother me. Right now, like I'm not bothered by this. I'm not like losing sleep going, we fought again. Like, come on. You want to talk about your belief and what you believe in?
That's what we'll do the next time we talk. Very nice. All right, we'll do that. And I'm getting my third warning right now, so this actually might be the last time anybody ever sees me. All right, have a good night, man. Take care.
All right, take care.
All right, you guys. And I do got to get off. I'm sorry I can't take the calls. You're not supposed to get the third warning. Remember when your lady says, get off the computer, get off the computer. And have a good night, everybody. Thank you for the super chats. I will respond to those later as well. But I want to live past tonight. Until next time.